longer. I'm going to start muttering in the beginning of this before the music starts. Even want to get behind the scenes things, just listen to the beginning of this. Tired. Everybody's tired. Friday sucks because and you're still waiting.
Good morning, Vietnam!
No!
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 235-member Michigan Marching Band. Band, take the field. Under the direction of Professor Jamie L. Nix, the M Fanfare.
Oh no, let it play, Brian. Let it play. Oh yeah. Yeah, you like that. It's great radio. Let's go, Blue! Oh, hey, welcome to ChipChat, everybody. We have new theme music. Like it? Hey, yeah. All right, yeah, Brian, this goes on for about 25 minutes, so we can eventually let it go. Hi, welcome to ChipChat. Hi, it's Thursday night. It's 9:30. You're tuned into Beltway Radio and Beyond. Mean one and only thing that this is ChipChat. Hi, I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You just told him, buddy. You just told him.
Yeah.
Wow, that was intense.
Yeah.
All right. You got a word? Fucking intro's done. Shit.
Yeah. So, in case anybody is listening and can't see us, right? Tez is exasperated because once again, the Michigan Wolverines are champions at something big and important, and also right now the Frozen Four is on. So we need to check on that and see where we're doing, how we're doing great at that too. But I have on a shirt from a Big Ten champions from, I guess, 20. I don't know. We won the conference so many times in a row. It's getting a little hard to keep track of. But my new gear hasn't got here yet, but I did spend about $9,000 on Fanatics and MDEN and everything else. You know, the night that we won, because we won. We're the champions. We're the best at men's basketball, and it's great. And I'm happy. And that's how the world works. So yeah. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well. Yeah, congratulations. I feel redeemed as I was standing outside and talking to a gentleman walking down from the corner store, and we were talking college basketball. He's like, I got Arizona beating them, man. And I was like, no way in hell. I was like, it's going to beat them. And we argued for that a while, and I said, all right, well, see me when they win it all. And you guys won it all. So I'm waiting to see that gentleman who walks down the street.
That is right. Currently, right now, we're beating Denver 2-1, by the way, at the end of the first period. in the Frozen Four. So we're on our way. We could be a 2-sport champion in one season, right? And then baseball's still ongoing. We're pretty good, looking pretty good there. Men's gymnastics just won the conference, so there's a chance to win some more titles. It is getting difficult for me, as somebody who unconditionally loves my team, Sharon Moore notwithstanding, that Trump was right. I might eventually get tired of winning so much. I haven't yet, but I'm just saying it could happen. Wisconsin won the other Frozen Four game, so we're going to be facing them. So it's going to be a Big Ten final no matter what. So yeah. So this is a special edition of Chip Chat, of course, because
yeah,
we won and we're champions of something again, and it's great. I'd like to thank Dusty May for listening to me, for all of the things that I told him over the offseason about who to pick up and how to get that team to gel, especially when I told him to get Yaks. That was a good call on my part. I want to say special shout out to Yaks for learning his jump shot from me. I did teach him that, but he made it a lot better. He's better at it than I am, so it's okay. He started with the best, so we'll. It feels good to win. It just feels great. Also, we have special guests this week. We have the folks from the Green Collar Pod. They're going to be here. Yeah. Is there any civilization that's still standing that you might want to check on?
We'll get to that.
He's been tweeting a lot tonight, by the way, trying to get himself out of that one. And we'll have the headlines. We've got some other stories. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be all the things.
Again, this time, look, not classic.
You have a hop slam.
We're going straight. Yeah, I've been enjoying these with the 4 listeners that we have, which right. I know. Look, you're ready to gloat. And
funny that you mentioned that. We do want to send a special shout out to apparently all of our fans in Vietnam. It's been wacky. Today alone, almost 100 people in Vietnam have downloaded the show. And the 100 people, most of them are in Vietnam. Some of them are in Bangladesh, Kenya, Iraq, Pakistan, Brazil, Uzbekistan. Shout out to Herman Cain. Morocco, Venezuela, Bulgaria, Bolivia, Colombia, Indonesia, India, Mongolia, Nigeria, Nepal, Panama, Sweden, Ukraine, of course, and Uruguay, I guess, for our soccer content, and South Africa.
I love that I gave you an opening by joking about listeners. You proceeded to list like it's the friggin' Olympics. Opening ceremony of you coming in of okay. I don't even remember the point I was trying to make about this. Anyways, oh God.
I just wanted, the point of this is we have no idea what has happened, but we have all of a sudden seen massive listenership in Vietnam. And it's not all in one place. So it's clearly not just one person. It's in the 2 biggest cities in Hanoi and Saigon area, but and even a little bit in the middle of the country somehow. I don't even know how that happens in Da Nang. Who's listening in Da Nang?
I don't know. So, you know what? If you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
We are sorry.
We're sorry. I don't know if he's sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm here.
Yes. Those are the criteria.
All
right. So with that being said, do you have a word so we can hit the break and go on and actually do this show?
Do I have a word? Yeah, I have a word.
Okay. Let me see if I've got it. I had a word, but now I have a better word. Okay.
Oh, God. I don't think it's a better word, but now I think I have a different word in my head.
Well, we're going to try it.
All right.
So sit back, grab some
eggs.
It's championship time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweet. Don't play that damn marching song. Okay. Hey,
Let's go,
swear to
Bruce.
God.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
All right, let's do some headlines.
God.
This is everybody's favorite part of the show. And
Right.
as tradition dictates, Tez will be going first.
Oh God, I guess that means you've counted this out.
I have yet to actually remember to do that. So
Okay. All right. There's a couple in
It's
here.
all-
We'll
it's
see
all-
how. There's a couple in here to see how these actually fall. And this,
we'll
I tell
see.
you-
I have no idea. I did not count ahead.
And everyone remember, we'll know how much hop slam I've had when I go from saying Iran to Iran. All right, moving on. Donald Trump hosted the annual Easter egg roll at the White House and spent 10 minutes telling a group of gathered children about how Joe Biden had an auto pen. Okay, but can you just put the chocolate in the bag?
That's true, though. He did do that.
He did this next thing.
Incredible. Trump also used the address to the assembled kids and families to threaten Iran and more war. But good news, he only swore a dozen times.
No, I laughed at that.
Did you
on
see the
Easter-
bunny?
I tried
Everybody
to.
was like wondering if they also were seeing the rabbit. Like we were all tripping on like the wildest
Acid or something.
ayahuasca trip that Aaron could possibly imagine. Like he's standing next to the bunny and yelling about the Straits of Hormuz to like 7-year-olds. And the bunny is just standing there like being a bunny.
I was gonna say what people should do on Easter Monday, but I don't want to mess it up for my people. It's like, why would I just broadcast that so you can ruin the few things we have left? All right, moving on. On Easter, Trump took to the stable genius decision to threaten Iran and end their civilization. And on Taco Tuesday, he blinked, which is good, but it also means DJ TJ made a bunch of money on Polymarket.
That's right. He knew where to bet. All right. Nobody knows the current status around Hormuz, but check out Lil Marco's newest album, The Fate of the Straits. Really proud of that one.
I can only imagine. Surprised it's not an AI lyric right now. Hungary is holding elections this weekend, which should give Americans a great opportunity to continue to not be able to point to Hungary on a map. We
That's
also
right.
will not be doing that today because we don't have the globe.
We don't have the globe. It's all the way upstairs. So you just have to imagine
That's where
you
Hungary is
think
too, all the
Hungary
way
is,
upstairs.
but it's wrong wherever you
Right.
think it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The war in Iran continues to go poorly or amazingly, depending on which part of Trump's tweet you read, but did include the downing of an F-15E Strike Eagle. Trump claimed it was shot down by a shoulder-fired missile, which is a popular drink at Pete Hegseth's favorite bar, his desk.
Lord. Some reporters have noted that Hegseth has been telling Trump that the U.S. has total air superiority, when that's not true. But Pentagon spokeswoman Sean Parnell called those statements lies and propaganda, a term usually reserved for Caroline Leavitt's press conferences.
Spokeswench gets me every time.
It's always good.
It's amazing. Trump met with NATO Secretary Mark Rutte and discussed pulling out, something even Trump admits he should have done with Eric.
That was one I was looking at. All right. Yeah.
Not proud of that one.
You should not be. Pam Blondie is no longer the AG, and so she is not going to be appearing before Congress to talk about the Epstein files. Not that she was going to talk about them anyway. By the way, have you seen the Dow recently? Jesus, what a terrible. Anyways,
Gasoline prices continue to rise due to the war in Iran and a whole lot of Viagra.
The high cost of fuel has reverberated through the economy, driving up the prices of everything from food to the prices of Byron Gnome's balloon rides. Okay. Okay.
Brian.
Sorry, excuse me.
NASA astronauts began their journey home despite trying really hard to stay in space until our planet calms the fuck down.
Yep. No, come the fuck down until it calms the fuck down. No, God, sorry. Speaking of space, Elon has been talking about placing data centers in orbit. So stay tuned for a future news story. Quote, large data center crashes to Earth, killing thousands.
Yes. In sports, UCLA beat South Carolina like Don Staley wanted to beat Gino after that sideline altercation.
She asked us to move on. Did you not read the statement? So strike that from the record. Sorry, Don. To move on. It's not moving on. Michigan claimed the national championship on the men's side, handing UConn yet another loss in a big game. Don Staley was happy. Okay, we're moving forward, clearly.
Yeah, well, we're just helping her do that.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins will be paid $20 million by the Raiders. Once Mendoza gets there, they will need a translator for all the Ned Flanders speak those two are going to engage in. There will be more flips and fracks and dang-its than you've ever heard in your entire life.
Yeah, those two. In the break, I got to find out how much money Kirk Cousins has made because he's just been
his agent is the best agent.
The legend at the bank for years. Oh my God, all those franchise tags.
Yeah.
God. Anyways. Oh, okay. I get to read this one. Thank God. Liverpool continues to try their best to perform some kind of weird Brexit.
Yeah. Get thrown out of Europe.
Yeah, Champions League Brexit, I guess. Yeah,
it's sort of the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing.
And the Nets are in last place, but don't worry, the season is young and they can still lose a whole lot more games.
In a heartbreaking fashion, too. I'd rather if we were getting smoked, this would feel, I'd be like, all right, well, we're just that bad. They're losing games that it's just
they should be winning.
They should be winning them. Like, this should be completely different. But, this is not a sports show. I know if you listen to the beginning of this, you obviously would think that it's
some of the people in Vietnam apparently think so.
Yeah, I'm, not talking.
They're listening to episodes from like 2021. Like,
yeah,
I don't even know I don't even remember what was on those.
You know what? It's probably Brian's breaks. It's probably not us. It's probably
not in 2021. We weren't doing amazing AI breaks then.
Amazing AI breaks.
Yes.
That's what we calling that shit.
Speaking of which, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk to smarter, cooler, funnier people about their podcast. But we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps. Time for funny AI shit.
The Department of War has its very own whore and his ass-grabbing pals call him Pete. The ultimate bragger with way too much swagger, his backstory isn't so sweet. A regular boozer and girlfriend abuser, he hung with the frat boys and jocks. His only salvation and canonization, a weekend assignment at Fox. Oh, Pete, why must you be so macho? Oh, Pete, why do that schlong and dance? Is your pumped up masculation maybe overcompensation for something that is lacking in your pants? Oh, Pete, you're in above your pay grade. Hey, boy, who's riding herd on men? Strong and having the Pentagon in brass knows your head is in your ass. Oh, Pete, you're failing once again. His first months were bleak, including the leak of a top-secret meeting he led. Despite all the lies and desperate tries, old Pete kept on shitting the bed. You can't always fudge it on such a big budget, surrounded by legions of kooks. But looks like he's staying, so let's keep on praying he don't get his mitts on the nukes. Oh, Pete, why must you be so macho? Oh, Pete, why do that schlong and dance? Is your tough guy presentation just a bad show. But hey, that flair and perfect hair, the reigning bullshit master, our country's magalicious G.I. Joe. Oh, Pete, why must you be so macho? Oh, Pete, why do that schlonging dance? Is your battlefield oration just a form of masturbation? Or do you really think you have a chance? Oh, Pete, you're in above your pay grade. Hey, kid, who's hanging on to
What part of Love Your Neighbor did you not understand?
Pentagon and brass knows you never made the class. Oh, Pete, you're failing once again.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
All right, well, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping now?
You can hate AI all
That
you
is not
want,
me. That is not me. That is not me at all. Blame the guy on your right.
Yes,
Oh God.
I sent that to Brian. It was in
Brian, take back over AI controls, okay? All right,
I sent that to both of you. You could have said something.
shit.
You didn't click the link and look.
Yeah, because something. Guys, no, you know what? I did myself a favor, but I didn't do a favor to the audience to stop this. And yeah, because we're talking about everybody's afraid of nuclear Armageddon, and yet we're fucking showing a fucking insensitive ass video. Which obviously that's our show.
That's an incredible video.
That video is
The song is very catchy.
The Kebab Rat was actually my favorite.
Yeah. There's lots of good parts, right?
Yeah.
How to Viking. I like that.
That was funny. That
How
was
to
funny. That was funny. That's fine. I you know what? We're here. We're here.
It's very believable too. The quality is incredible.
That should frighten. Never mind. You know what? That's not today's show. Yes, sir. Because we'll just get. There won't be any water. We'll just continue.
Our guests are having an excellent time in the comment section, which is a great reason to bring them on. So Kirsten and Aparna host the Green Collar Pod. They interview experts on the future and about how the green environment is built and the jobs that support it and that are building it and all of that stuff. And now for some reason they join us on our show. Kirsten and Aparna, welcome to Chip Chat.
Hello.
God.
My mouth is sore from just like being in a perpetual state of smile / cackle / my jaw was open. That was art, I have to say.
See, Tez is a hater.
Yeah, I'm a hater. You know what? I'll be that. I'll take it. I'll take it.
There's no defense for it, I think is a
Excellent.
excellent answer. Good job, Kirsten.
Thank you. I was trying to model the pun and dad jokes that you guys have excellently demonstrated. So yeah, no Department of Defense, no defending that video.
No, that was good. I laughed. That's funny.
That's good.
It was really good.
All right, we'll set this up just so that we can get started with this. We did actually write questions. I wrote the questions. We're going to do this, but so Tez is our climate alarmist nerd on our show. But you two have managed to turn that into something even more. So tell us about how Green Collar Pod got started.
we're trying to recover from the video. Sorry.
Man meme. Kirsten, you got this one.
All right. Yeah. So it did start with AI in the sense that we got some help naming it, but certainly not in the way that you guys are using AI. All right, I need to deep breathe so that there's not just laughter, but
this is going great. This is fun.
No, this is good. This is how radio should sound.
I do think your last guest commented like you got to put that transition later on, and I agree because you can't come in prepped when that's your intro. But Aparna and I have had many conversations with people looking to work in green industry, sustainability. Green collar came from the idea of there's a white collar industry, a blue collar industry, and we want jobs to be green. So green collar. And we noticed we were answering a lot of the same questions and thought, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like, let's record these conversations and then we can keep having them so that we can customize everything and talk to people and get needs met. But now we have this cool resource that exists online and we can tell people, oh, you're interested in this? Like, check out this episode. And the whole point is just to elaborate and shine a light on what jobs are green or how to make non-green, making air quotes for those not watching on video, but not green, into something that's more sustainable, and just clarify too, what does this job title mean? Like, everybody's heard of a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, but like, have you heard of an operating engineer versus a, what was Kieran, Aparna?
He's a transportation engineer.
Yeah,
and
studying
how is that
asphalt.
sustainable? Mm-hmm.
That's
So
important.
all these little
stuff.
niches.
It is.
And
Yeah,
interesting
potholes aren't
stuff.
sustainable, man. They waste fuel. No potholes means you have better fuel efficiency.
Well, and then there gets into all about permeable surfaces versus impermeable, and whether we've got like proper crowning on the macadam and all this. Pavement is awesome. I think people really understand how interesting pavement is. You know that there's sections of interstate in the Pacific Northwest that are original to the Eisenhower administration because the quality of the aggregate in which was mixed in the concrete when they were laid.
Wow.
Crazy thing to know about.
You fucking nerded out. Exactly. It's just we're not. This is your show, okay? We'll do your segment about everything you know about asphalt later.
I just wanted to join in. Jesus.
Join in. That is not joining in. All right.
This is going to be good trivia knowledge and one day in the future.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
I learned that from Marketplace. Tez hates Marketplace.
That's
His least favorite show. Shout out to David Brancaccio, whose last show on Marketplace Morning Report is tomorrow, when we will be in miserable shape trying to listen to it. He's leaving that daily grind to come work on our show. So you'll see him here eventually. Maybe. I don't know. We'll call Ray. He can get him over here. He knows him. They're buddies. They hang out. All right. So you have interviewed a lot of interesting people. We have interviewed a lot of interesting people over the years. Have you talked to anybody who has threatened to eat Mitch McConnell?
Oh, God.
You know, I think we'll leave the door open for that one. Future guests, if you're
Great
listening,
answer.
I
Yes.
would love to get a challenge. Yeah.
I'll eat Mitch McConnell. Yeah, see? That actually happened on our show.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I mean, a sustainable diet is less meat, but if we eat each other, so then there's less meat eaters. I don't know. There's
That's
some math to be
people-
done.
It's an existing resource. He's
Yeah,
there.
I wouldn't call Mitch McConnell meat, so I think that's fine.
Yeah.
He's too rotten to be composted, so we might as well do something else
There
with
we
him.
go.
So
Yes.
There.
Parna for the win.
All right. I
We knew
usually
you'd
take
be great on this
look,
show.
if you guys ever want to come and co-host, I'm always looking for people so I can take a day off.
But the asphalt knowledge that Chip shared, it didn't cement his place. And
Okay, you know what? Here we go. All right.
Man, this is awesome.
Yes, this is all
This is
right.
the best show we've done in
Yeah,
a long
top
time.
10, yeah, top 10 right now.
All right, so who are some of the interesting guests that you've talked to that really stand out to you?
I think for me, the last one that we just put out, Dr. Maria Younger, was like, it was just very special for me. She's someone that like really influenced my undergraduate career, my graduate career, has been a mentor throughout, like, I don't know, since I was the wee age of like 19. So actually getting to interview her and hear more about her career journey and get to showcase that to everyone, that's definitely one of my top episodes, just because she's like watched me growing up for the last multiple years. So very happy to put that one out. All about concrete, cement, and cementitious material research. So folks, go check it out if you guys are curious what the difference is, because there is a difference.
See, it is amazing, interesting stuff. All right, Kirsten, who's been your favorite person to talk to so far? Or not a favorite, that's not fair, because they're all your
Come
favorites
on.
and all.
Yeah.
But
Don't do that.
somebody that stands
Nope.
out.
I'll give you the one that I got the most like fangirly about, and that was Doug Talamy. He is an entomologist. He is a New York Times bestselling author and professor. But similarly to Aparna, I didn't have him as a professor, but I read his book way back when I was just getting into sustainability. It resonated so much. He has many, but the one I'm talking about is called Nature's Best Hope. And it's about essentially creating the largest national park, homegrown national park, by planting natives in your yard. And therefore we would have biodiversity and like connectivity, nature corridors, even in and amongst the urban and suburban places that we have. So to reach out without knowing him and get a yes and then have him back on, I was definitely like wiggling in my seat and being laughed at by my, girlish excitement. But it was very cool to get to speak to someone that I was like, wow, I got his book from the library and now he's talking to us one-on-one. So yeah, that one stands out.
Can we actually dive into that? Because both of you guys kind of like articulated, oh, this person, I really enjoy them, and now I'm actually interviewing them. Going into that, what does that look like of actually like creating the questions, like, and trying to like stay in the moment, but also kind of enjoying it?
He's asking because he'd like to write some questions for this show one day.
No, that's not. No, it's because I also interviewed someone. I was real, and in the moment it was that's the reason I'm asking.
One interview, and he's talking about it for years.
Yeah,
you talked to an economist.
One year.
You talked to a famous economist, which was very cool.
I think I could get a little nerdy about talking to one of them too. I'll throw in, I do think it's very helpful to have a co-host, because in those moments where I was just like,
I'm like, I have a question.
That was when she could talk. Yeah, exactly. So it allowed like me to come off as more put together and intelligent, I think. Of course, we don't do ours live, so there's also the benefit of post-production edits, but that's hugely helpful. And then I'll toss it to you to talk about our prep.
Yeah, sure. So we have a standard list of questions, and the way that we usually reach out to folks, either a cold reach out or someone that we know, is we'll send them a message, we'll gauge interest, and then we have like 10 to 15-ish questions that we just want to give them ahead of time so they can prep themselves. We also ask for an intake form so we can get a bio about them, questions they want us to ask, questions they don't want us to ask. Maybe they are vegetarian, they don't want to eat Mitch McConnell. Totally fine. Good to respect that. And yeah, during the interview, we usually start off with them and let them know they can take breaks when they want. So that also applies to us if we stumble or just get lost in the moment, But I think it's a good point that you hit there, Tez, because you want to be prepared, but you also want to have like organic flow. So we have a Google Doc and we have two screens whenever we record. There's the screen that we're looking at right now, and then one on the side where we have a Google Doc. We're chatting back and forth pretty much throughout the interview to say, oh, I want to ask this. Oh, you should go here next. And I think that helps us with flow and to also like know where the other person's head is at.
What's really remarkable about that is we have the same basic operation, but we never learned to do it. It just sort of like became the thing. It is a magic thing when you have a show. It gives you this like crazy excuse to just cold reach out and call somebody or email them and say like, hey, I'm interested in this thing you're doing. Could we talk to you about it on the radio? And people who would never talk to you just for fun will be like, oh yeah, absolutely. What time? And then you're like, oh, cool. So we write our questions ahead of time, which we never stick to. And as you can see, we do have a way to communicate sort of off screen. We write a Google Doc too with the whole script and everything. I write the Google Doc, and like there's the whole organic
show up, man.
Listen, ChipChatistan will have many people in the cabinet, but hold on, we have a question about that. Don't read ahead. See, there's a flag and everything.
We have props.
There you go. I love that. We need that. We just have the bell.
A real peek behind the scenes. I have a comment, but you mentioned ChipChatistan, and we would like to formally propose cabinet positions as requested on your last episode. We have a few titles that we're willing to accept. Co-ministers of sustainability works, but if you want differentiation, we could go like ecology, environment, circular economy.
Materials.
And we have some edicts as well, but first,
we'll get
if there are any other questions.
That's number 6 on our document.
All right, we're jumping ahead, but
So we
All
do
right.
want to know about that, but that's good. You've already
I
got
like
the
your
title.
enthusiasm already. It's all right. You know, it's a good start.
It is therefore
It's a good
decreed and
start.
granted. Yes, as co-presidents of
So shall
ChipChatistan.
it be written, so shall it be done.
Yes.
Fly away, birdies. Yes, good.
I gotta go update my LinkedIn. I'll just be right
That's
back.
right.
I'll
Yep.
go endorse it. Yeah.
Whatever. Actually, don't do that. This will destroy everybody's careers. Exactly.
All right. So back to the thing that you do know about. A lot of the investments in the infrastructure law that came out in the last time we had a president, and the Inflation Reduction Act, they were focused on resilience and building those sorts of things, environmental upgrades, all of that kind of stuff. How do you see those initial investments jump-starting a green economy and shaking out through the future?
Yeah, I can jump in here
Sure.
because at my old role, I did a lot of number crunching around those incentives from the IRA. And I think it made a huge difference in what decisions were made at a building design level. So I'm speaking specifically about the incentives around heat pumps, which is a very efficient all electric HVAC system, and
water heating.
geothermal. Yeah, so geothermal partnered with heat pumps was a favorite system of that design firm, and also the solar rebates. So having that credit allowed us to go net zero on projects that probably otherwise wouldn't have considered going net zero. And not to be too jargony, but net zero being a building where energy is consumed all the time by all buildings, right? So if you total that energy over the course of a year, you have X amount. If you're net zero, you are creating that same amount in renewable energy, ideally on site. There's some, squirrely play with the definition sometimes, so maybe it's off-site, but the net of zero is coming from production versus consumption, and they balance out to be zero. So it's a very sustainable building design paradigm, and I think we would have gotten a lot more no's if we couldn't crunch the numbers and say, but if you look at the life cycle cost analysis and you factor in local utility rebates and the rebates from the federal government IRA, then you get this tax benefit. We got a lot of yeses, so I'll leave it at
That's
that.
fantastic.
But that helps because now those buildings exist and they're operating more efficiently and on cleaner fuel. So
And they can't go back, really. Once a lot of the built environment, people aren't really ready for the cost of maintaining the built environment at all. It's much more expensive than it costs to build it, to maintain it, and keep so much of it operating. People aren't ready for that. So when you get to those value propositions that are neutral at best, right? That could mean the difference between a building lasting 100 years or 50 years or something like that, because it just doesn't cost you as much to keep it up. So as somebody who works on the repairs and maintenance side of that, that's like tremendous. Tez is convinced that the IRA and the infrastructure law are generational impacts on the future. And I'll let him sort of explain why he thinks that. But I would be interested on the other side of that for either of you who are actual experts, not just idiots with a radio show, saying, what you think about his conjecture.
No, I don't need to even go deep in. I just think that amount of investment, which isn't nearly enough, but it's more than we've ever seen. I'm pretty sure maybe China's invested in a different type of way, but for America, that's a huge investment that should be seen 50, 60 years from now, God willing, with everything that's going on. So, I mean, that money, while I know there's been some issues with it getting out, but it is out there. It is signed law. I just think that we will see whether it's changing, right? The roads themselves, hopefully eventually moving back to like renewable energy, where that feels like that's taking kind of a back seat with this administration, clearly. But yeah, right. Do I have that wrong? I mean, I feel like that money should change things because, again, just sheer economics, if the government is financing that, right, which the government now is in the red, that's putting someone else in the black to actually go ahead and build things that we hope will actually change the environment and maybe make us more sustainable. So,
No, yeah.
All right, experts.
I will caveat we know a lot about certain fields, but I would not call us experts in like the investment space. So we're happy to like chat, speculate, and everything, but to the best of our knowledge and our own personal opinions as they appear. But
We make stuff up all the time too. It's fine.
fantastic. We're in great company. So
You haven't done AI fact checks. That's not how you're
We don't,
deploying it. To be
we don't
clear,
bother with that.
just the songs.
Since we know Grok is just gonna be wrong anyway, we just start off with wrong.
yeah. I did just do a quick Google search on like, is this the biggest infrastructure investment? And yeah, widely recognized as the largest. And I don't know, I think that's pretty cool that we got to see it in our lifetime. And from when it was passed, I was in grad school at that point. Every single one of my classes was like the IRA, and like we call it IRA. And there's also people named Ira. They'd be like, "Hello, me," and it was a fun point of confusion. But no,
I
yeah,
also
it's gonna.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt. I agree. I think it's generational. I can point back to an episode because I also agree that we're not the experts in this part of the industry.
Bob and Olivia, I feel like, are going to be the ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bob Keefe is the executive director of E2, which is an environmental nonprofit advocacy group. But he wrote a book, another great book, and we read in preparation for having him on, called Clean Economy Now. And it basically, the entire book is about how the IRA impacted red states for the most part. It covers both, but I think it's something like 80%. Now that I know we're not fact checking, no, I'm just kidding. I do think it's something like 80% of the funds that were dispersed were into investments into red states. And it was largely manufacturing. So bringing foreign investment over to have manufacturing sited in places like Georgia, South Carolina. And he's telling the stories of these businesses and the deals that were able to be brokered based on that money. It's probably not being read by the people that frankly need to read it, but it tells a great story of like,
a lot of those people don't read at all.
Don't do that. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
No, because it's
not in Vietnam. They're not listening to us.
No.
They did. Right time in Vietnam, guys.
Jesus. Like the AI video.
There is a cool documentary that I watched last week on that exact topic. So if you don't read, you could watch. And it's called The Conservatives. It's all about the kind of climate activists within the conservative party and how they're trying to further an agenda from like within, which I thought was really cool. And there was a lot of support for the IRA from this like small coalition, and talks about how they kind of influence like a conservative climate bill as well. I need to learn more about that, but I don't know. I think Bob started that, and it's like having there's so many cool impacts that the IRA has on every single person, and like there are multiple ways to digest the information. So I'll offer a documentary up to the masses as well.
No, and they boiled it down to like, do you want more or less clean air, clean water? It's been politicized, but it's not.
Exactly.
This is the root of it. Do you want to smell smog or fresh air?
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. And I think also what I've seen with a lot, specifically farmers, is if you actually talk to them like, well, you know, we don't really want drought. Like, it doesn't work for us, right?
Yeah.
We kind of need rain. Like, so
we want food.
We want food, right? And
yeah, I'm hungry.
We grow the food for you all. But it is clear that, and what I've noticed is you almost have to have these different, like, you have to use different words and framing for it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, because some of those things are just non-starters and like, yo, woke liberals, damn it. But yeah, if you frame it in hopefully an economic a frame, or just again using words like sustainability seems to be a word like, oh yeah, we want to sustain our farms. Like, I do think that those red states hopefully can understand, like, when it stops raining or the soil isn't actually good to grow anything, you know, like, it gets rough. It's for all of us at that point. So
it's a very strange thing, the way that it breaks down left and right. Because that's an extremely American problem, that in amongst the rest of the developed world, first of all, there isn't any disagreement as to whether climate change is a problem. And the idea of conserving your resources and conserving your environment is not a left-wing issue. That is a settled and easily agreed upon thing that you can. And if you look back historically, you can certainly find examples of the right being interested in preserving wild habitat for hunting
Totally.
or in
National parks.
conserving water
Yeah.
usage for farmers and ranchers and not damming up rivers or things like that. So it's a funny, not funny, haha, but weird thing that it's politicized in that, like, doing right by your farm is somehow woke liberal bullshit, whereas doing right by your children, which means doing right by your farm so that there is a farm for your children, is somehow legitimately okay for the right to engage in. And I do think the word choice matters. I mean, the word conserve really does, I think, play a role here, right? They are conservative.
That's
by
like
your
exactly what the
nature
documentary is about, like exactly what you're talking about.
It has parentheses.
Yeah.
Conservatives.
And they interview a farmer, they interview someone who works in the policy space, they interview someone in the religious space, but exactly what you're saying is what the farmer expresses, is what, like, the guy who worked in politics, he quits and he's like, this is bogus. This is a human issue, not just a left or right issue. How do we get a bipartisan coalition to care about this, and how can we, like, activate that?
If it's focused around particular resources, you can sometimes get a lot of agreement. A good example of that is the Chesapeake Bay. There is almost no disagreement, left, right, or otherwise, amongst the states that share the watershed of the Chesapeake, that doing right by the bay is a good thing to do for every possible reason, whether it's the watermen who all vote Trump but love to see, sediment traps and sewers and stuff to try to keep the algae blooms down, or whether it's the people vastly upstream who are worried about containing agricultural runoff and try to manage that. They are all, and then there's the people in the state capitals just wanting to collect the tax revenue from all the economic benefit of the bay. There is no disagreement amongst Democrats and Republicans within the Commonwealth, within Maryland, within any of the states that serve the bay, about whether we should protect the bay or not. That is an obvious and clearly settled discussion. So why can we not expand that conversation to other resources, whether it is, water in the West, or whether it is dredging along the Mississippi, or any of these other things that are obviously beneficial to literally everybody? How come it gets tangled up in this? So I guess I'm not going to read the book because I don't read. That's Tez's job. But
you can watch.
I guess I'm going to watch the document. I'm not going to watch the documentary. I'm going to listen to the documentary because I don't watch things. I listen while I work. But that I think I'll check. You know what? I'm going to have Fresh Air watch that and then do an episode about it, and then I will absorb it from listening to Fresh Air discuss it. That's how I'll do that. Okay.
Excellent.
Let me ask you this. Is it clear from where you sit that the climate crisis itself presents an economic challenge, but also an opportunity for economic growth, especially in the green collar job space? And what would that growth look like to you, or what does it currently look like to you?
You want to take this one?
Yeah, I can take a stab at it. I think, I don't want to sound too fear-mongery, but like what does keep me up at night is the economic problem side of this. What's at stake is everything. We mentioned farmers. I mean, you have a drought, you can't grow crops. But even if you don't have a drought and you're growing crops, I think you mentioned soil, like nutrition and nutrients in the soil is depleting because everything is so linear. It's a take model, and then it goes to the waste. Nothing goes back to the soil. So the food that we're growing, studies have shown, is less nutrient dense than it was decades ago. So even if we're eating the same amount, we're not getting the same amount of goodness from our food because our food just doesn't contain it. So, I mean, any way that you look at it, be it what we need to eat. Okay, then we talk about buildings, shelter. We all need some kind of shelter. If we run out of fossil fuels and everything is based on fossil fuels rather than renewables, you might have shelter, but it's not going to be heated and cooled in the degrees that you're used to. And that might not be an issue in mild climates, but frankly, the climate, I don't know if you guys remember, but 3 weeks ago in DC, we had snow one day and the next day it was 80 degrees, or I might be reversing the order.
Everything's
because
fine.
it's so wacky. My brain can't.
It was snowing in the morning. It was sunny in the afternoon. It was like 3 Fridays ago or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so people that are vulnerable, both in terms of climate and just economically, in terms of being able to not afford the energy burden of heating and cooling their homes with these extreme crazy swings where you would have literally been heating and then cooling to undo the heating that you had just done. They're at risk of the health effects of these things. And when you get into vulnerable populations in terms of age or comorbidities, literal death is what we're facing. So a lot of that scares me. I said I wouldn't get too fear-mongery, but it really is every single thing. Supply chains would fail if we didn't have fossil fuels because so much is based on trucking. So you wouldn't be able to get food to your grocery stores. Nothing would be in the mall for you to go shopping. There would be no recreation things because we rely so much on the stuff as opposed to the experience and then the power that powers even those things that aren't stuff-based, like going to the movies. But again, do you want to sit in a hot theater? No, theaters became popularized because
AC.
Cool.
Because of air conditioning. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like I can take it any direction you want and get a little bit nervous about it because everything relates to this and everything is at stake. But on the flip side, the happier side, in terms of the opportunity, I mean, the opportunity is to save everything. So
Yeah,
I don't
Right.
know if I can get a lot more specific, but that really is the crux of it. Like we can save ourselves or we cannot save ourselves.
Like
And
every single thing that you mentioned, there is the flip side. Like with elderly populations, with vulnerable populations, isn't there an opportunity in giving them housing that
exactly.
reduces unemployment, that increases the population that's able to work and contribute to the economy? Everyone's happier at the end of the day if we have more people happily employed who feel fulfillment in their lives. I think an interesting lens too with this is like with economic opportunity, with growth and everything. We read a book for a workbook club last year called Donut Economics by Kate Raworth, right? And her whole theory is we're in such a growth centric world right now that's just like more, give me like more productivity, more stuff, more output. But the earth has a carrying capacity. Most things have a carrying capacity. And you want to find the sweet spot of not using up all your resources before it's too late. So if you take the world and think about it as a donut. So in your mind's eye, everybody, think about a donut and the actual doughed surface is going to be, I look like I'm doing a Doctor Strange move right now. But the dough
bringing about the world you want to be in.
Step through, let's go. But the dough of the donut is the livable surface of the earth. And then that little donut hole where it's popped out is what you're trying to minimize. So how do you make the dough part as big as you can so that you're creating more livable space, again, in our like donut imagery, for people to thrive, for them to survive without like overextending the resources that we have here and minimizing that hole in the middle. You can think about the hole as like people who just don't have the means to survive and like the earth can't hold them. So create more land, shrink the hole in the middle, but don't do too much that the earth can't survive. Is my TLDR of the book. It's quite interesting.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's the other part of like I can paint a positive economic picture because everything that we make poorly, we can make in a more sustainable way.
Right.
But also the point of that book and the viewpoint I share is that we have the wrong economic model.
Yeah.
So it is built on everything that Aparna just said. And I don't think that's right. Why are we so focused on more? Like, why can't we say we've had huge gains? Now we don't have to work 40 hours a week anymore. Like, is it really worth having a wardrobe twice the size if you have to continue to slave away at a job? But that's not the paradigm that we're able to face. It's not the world that we live in. But if I had a dictator wand and we were in ChipChatistan,
Oh God.
I think I would change a
Dictator
lot
Friday.
more than, can we do the same economic paradigm and the same efficiency gains with sustainable things, but instead think about why is it linear? Why aren't we being circular? And what is a good life? We've improved efficiency and output and GDP, but what does that really measure? Is that the right stat we want to be talking about? Or
And
do we
it's
want to
funny-
talk about happiness, satisfaction.
Right. Endless growth is not. I mean, and I don't know how you
No, it's
stop
not
this,
a
but
sustainable model.
it's not a sustainable model, and we have to figure that out. Like, you don't have to continue to grow at that rate, but
Right.
everything else is built around that.
It's funny that I wouldn't have guessed that like this show was about to run right into agreeing with Jamie Dimon on very much. But one of the things that I heard him say recently in an interview is that AI will probably shrink the work week, and that we will eventually get to where the AI can do enough, or robots in general, whatever you want to call it, technology can do enough that we have more leisure time to spend. And I think about that a lot because I think about the movie WALL-E, right? Where
Oh God.
everything is met by technology, but then the people didn't use that time to like create art or play basketball or anything. They used it to just lay around and do nothing, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But like the opportunity to also just go do other stuff could be there. And then the other side that I was thinking about when I wrote that question is every one of these cliffs that we're about to fall off of, whether it's running out of fossil fuels or running out of this or that or the other, those are also opportunities for economic growth. And the thing I think about that is like snow shoveling. Okay. When you're a kid and it snows, you're like, oh, this is fun, I'm going to go play. When you're a teenager and it snows, you think, oh, I'm going to go make money. I'm going to go out and shovel people's driveways. Snow is not a problem anymore. Snow is not fun anymore. It's an economic opportunity. And then when you get to be like an old person like me, you're like, God damn it, I got to shovel this snow. I wish I could pay some kid to do it. And so like there is that same occurrence. The snow has fallen, but from three different points of view, it's three different things entirely. Every one of these things, you think about solar panel installers, right? That was a job that didn't exist however many years ago. It's now a huge growth space. A lot of people are getting these jobs. A lot of people are putting up solar panels. So it's a problem. We need to make more renewable energy, but it's also an opportunity and somebody can make some money at it. I think that if woke liberal bullshit sold itself more in terms of these are chances for us to lift more people and shift the economy in ways that are more productive and frankly make more money for more people, the problem that they're solving with that doesn't really matter. If you just are handing out jobs, people are happy to have them. You don't have to tell them what the job is. There's a lot of electricians in red states who love throwing up solar panels because it pays them a lot of money, and this is the thing that like the second half of the sentence that Hillary said when she said we're going to put a lot of coal miners out of jobs. And then the second half of that sentence was because we're going to retrain them to do other things that are more valuable than mining coal. But they don't play the second half of that sentence. But that's the approach I think that would solve that other thing that we were talking about is why are there divides on some of these questions? That's not a question. You want a job? Yes. Okay. Well, there's this dam that's fucking up the Columbia River. We need like several 100,000 people to take it back apart. That sounds like woke liberal bullshit, but they're paying me $100,000 a year to do it. You know what? I'm going to do that. That sounds like a good job. That's the thing I'm sort of wondering. So are the people that you're interviewing or the people that you're talking to thinking about how to frame sustainability in ways that will target the economic benefit as opposed to talking about the science, the engineering, or even just the morality of the benefit of doing it?
I would say most of them are because we do exist in a capitalist society. So you got to talk the business talk and make the business case. And I think as much as we all have big green hearts, like we recognize that that's not going to speak to a lot of people. And even some people that it would speak to, they still have to see the numbers. So
well, and green is money.
Yeah,
real money is green, not some of that weird pink money that they've got in Europe, but like real money is green. And so that's why, if it's a green job, it's about money. All jobs are green jobs, right? You want to get paid, don't you?
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
Except podcasting, right?
Yeah, they're not this fucking job here. No.
I don't know.
Jokes on all of us here on the call.
We chose this.
Yeah. You're right.
What does Vietnamese money look like? Is it green? Is it? Oh shit! Denver scored. By the way, it's 2-2 now.
Critical update.
Critical
Fate of the Earth.
Afraid of the
Denver's
airplane.
scored.
I have a critical update. A Tale of
It's
Two
called the
talk show
Frozen Four. If your planet melts, we won't have a Frozen Four, Kirsten. It'll just be Puddle Four, and nobody likes puddle hockey.
That's
That
true.
sucks.
Can't complain
Can't play
there.
sports if the air quality is so bad that you can't breathe
sports
outside.
ball, very important sustainability.
I have
Go
an
ahead,
update.
Tess,
I
I'm
have an
sorry.
update. I'm sorry. A Tale of Two
Real
talk
stuff
show
to talk
hosts.
about.
A Tale of Two talk show hosts on air with Glenn Beck.
Okay, now
No
you have
more.
to explain what you just did.
I will not explain it, and we'll continue on.
Okay,
An Easter egg for all the Vietnamese audience that's listening in dutifully.
we think so.
Okay.
We're sure that's what they're interested in. All right. Speaking of listeners, how can people keep up with your show and tune in and get new episodes and all of that stuff?
Well, we love to have some new listeners, especially all of those Vietnamese folks that are listening in here. Oh, wow. It's popped up on the bottom right hand.
There it
Thank you
is.
so much. So we are called the Green Collar Pod. We are on Spotify, Apple. We have a Buzzsprout page if you want to listen online. And we are on like iHeartRadio, most places that you get your podcasts from already. But we post episodes on the 1st and the 15th of every month. So we're pretty consistent about that. New episodes come every 2 weeks, and it'll be a range of different topics. We have an Instagram, we have a LinkedIn. We always respond to our messages. So if you have a question or like have an idea about someone you want to interview, lob them our way. We are two very chatty people, and we'd love to talk.
It's not just Vietnam, by the way. Bangladesh,
Oh,
Iraq,
God.
Australia.
How could I forget? I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
They're all tuning
the
in.
Olympic list of countries.
Yeah. The Aussies are big fans.
Shakespeare
Good
on
night,
Six.
mate.
They,
Yeah.
yeah, right. They would lead in the school for like, I don't know, for like a couple of years. I think they were the most listened to outside of the US that we had. I think it's because of Tez's accent, quite honestly. All right, so
A quick anecdote. I had a friend on exchange with me. We were in Santiago, Chile. She's from Brisbane. We spent 2 months trying to teach me the proper way to say water with the Australian accent. And I can only do when I like move my head with it. So water, water, water. And
Right.
like, yeah, it's like some kind of muscle memory thing, but like I have to go down because the voice goes down. Emma, if you're listening, hi.
If you're listening, that is.
In
I'll take
Chile.
bets on that.
We have
She lives in
Chile.
Vietnam.
No, Chile's on the
She's
list.
in Brisbane.
Or in Brisbane. Yeah, Australia was right on the list. I mean, come on.
Just saying,
All right, so now back to the topic at hand, which is when we do set up ChipChatistan, would you like to be ministers? You've already claimed the Ministry of Sustainability. So you said you had some edicts for us.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Also, I realized apparently we missed the chance to be Minister of the Future. That's another great.
Oh.
It's a cli-fi novel. If you haven't read it, I know we've established you don't read books, and there's not a movie as of yet.
There's an audiobook. You can audiobook it. I trust
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Audiobook it. It's
Sure.
a fantastic novel. I'll go into my edicts, but
Wait, it's
definitely
fiction?
look it up.
I don't
Yeah.
read fiction.
It's climate
You don't
fiction,
read.
cli-fi.
I don't read. I do read. I don't read books. Books are for
Okay.
nerds. I read
But what
the
if it's a
newspaper.
novel?
That's
Oh,
even
Novels are
worse.
that's
fun.
less
more
for
nerdy.
you.
It's like fake stuff. It didn't happen yet.
But there are
Yes.
lessons to be learned. Yeah.
I have a novel.
Fine.
I have a novel that I'm.
Yeah.
Shakespeare on Sex: How Will's love life shaped the plays and liberated the world.
All right. I do know
Freedom
his
to all.
wife was
Cool.
Anne Hathaway, so that's
Yes.
always
All right.
funny.
On
Not
to
the
the
modern
edicts.
one.
Can one of your edicts be that Tez can't do this very stupid bit anymore?
I just want context for Tez's bits. That's all I want.
Me too. Do you have to
It's
be like
confusing,
a
and I don't want to
deep
go
cut
against
listener?
his ruling as co-president.
We'll figure it out eventually.
You'll figure it out.
You have to go back and listen to several dozen episodes.
From the last
Nah,
10
I
years.
I
Yeah.
will-
We're
No, I
training.
won't.
We're training
I-
for races. It's
You
a
know
good,
what?
thing to listen to. As a win.
You know what? I'm gonna let people behind the scenes because I wouldn't subject anybody to go back to listen to any of these episodes over the last however many years they've been on. No, there's this
11,
random
by the way.
11. Excuse me, so sorry. There's this random publishing company that I'm pretty sure we found out because it was publishing the Melania book
Yes.
And it's called Skyhorse Publishing.
Yes.
And as we were talking about the book, and I got to the publishing site, and I just started looking at everything else, and these are real books.
Real titles.
The real titles that I'm just reading off, like something like Sometimes Wrong But Never in Doubt, how a Cuban kid from Queens transferred to the WWE. Just
Sure.
and
All right.
we would just randomly say these book titles throughout shows.
I like
Especially
this
to
bit.
guests who would have the exact same reaction you've had of utter bewilderment, which is funny for us, but not so much for them.
That's funny for the
Well, I
guys, but
appreciate
that-
you pulling back the curtain today. Now
We
we'll be
pulled-
in the know, and we'll chuckle along in future episodes.
And I'll
No.
treat it like the opposite of a to be read list. I feel if they've
Ex-
published.
And then sometimes when people who have actually written books, we actually will go ahead and I'll give them some titles to say which is the real book here.
Yeah.
And we'll make up random ones from
That's
there.
funny.
Which I don't know if I have these on deck because some of them. There's one that we all laugh at. God, what is hold on. I know
Is it
one
the-
word.
the-
Yes,
the
you know what it is.
Islam
Don't
one?
ruin it. Don't ruin it.
It did.
No,
Okay.
it's bad.
All right, we had a couple. These were some that we gave folks, right? So we give them South Afrikaner musk, Dutch natural deodorant recipes. All right, okay. And then we had one that was called Kufis and Yarmulkes, Self-Hate Stories by Herschel Walker and Stephen Miller.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're both real. We're not
No.
picking which one's
No,
fake.
No, he made that one up.
No.
Okay.
That feels like something that should have stayed in a diary, maybe not been published.
That's an
the light of
inside
day.
book.
The real one was Flying for Peanuts, Tough Deals, Steep Bargains, and a Revolution in the Skies. That was the real book.
That was the real one of that.
Flying
multiple
for
choice.
peanuts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're not allowed to
I'm
say that
sorry.
on the,
See, this is-
on
I
the
just
plane
wanna shit-
anymore anyway.
I mean, the world's a massive place. Publishing seems to be easy to get into. I love
Very
this.
easy. Very easy.
Yeah, I used to think it would be like pinnacle to write a book, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
it's in the pie.
We had a guy on a few weeks ago who wrote a book. It was his second book in this series. And it was 17 pages long. And it was about how to be a side dude. And some of the
Okay.
pages contained maybe 2 sentences.
I never tell people to go back and listen to the show, but that show I have it marked somewhere of the time you need to listen to it, where it
Okay.
completely goes off the rail. I have to find that and I will send it. But yes, I
Please.
think it's an hour.
I
Maybe
do
like
want that.
an
yeah.
hour and 8 minutes in, or somewhere around there. I think it is. It's long.
It was something. It was something.
I mean,
Uh,
2 sentences per page, that's the level of commitment I would expect from someone who's striving to be a side dude.
Yeah, it was a remarkable interview. I have to say, it was maybe one of the strange. This is a strange show. That was one of the stranger moments that we've ever had.
Let's make it stranger. Framed, Fucked, and Freed: A Governor's Odyssey.
That
Wait,
feels
is
of
that
the
what's his
times.
name with the Appalachian Trail?
No, I don't.
The
Sorry.
dude from South
I like
Carolina?
this bit. I think as ministresses of sustainability for ChipChat, we're gonna keep Tez. And-
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna keep him doing his thing.
You're
Yeah.
the co-president, but we're choosing to keep you, just so you know.
No, I want this to be a democracy. Eventually, there should be votes, and we should all be voted on.
That's their first edict. All right, what are your other edicts?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sorry.
Please, sorry.
If we were dictators / ministresses for the day, here are a few of them. Cut me off if I run too long. So, all products
On this
developed. It could still happen. Don't doubt me. But all products developed and sold must first be approved, and that approval will require demonstrated plan for repair, take backs, and breakdown for component material reuse. So this is the start of our circular economy. Okay,
I like that.
all
100%
buildings will
right
be
to
net
repair.
zero, and not just net zero energy, but net zero carbon, waste, and water. So another podcast on how we can do that, but it is possible, and there are certifications that there are some buildings like this that exist.
Ants do it.
Moving on to transportation. Transportation systems will be fully centered on shared use multimodal means. So cars will take a backseat for once, pun fully intended. Yeah, low on the totem
I
pole.
love
So
it. There,
imagine
didn't catch it. Didn't catch it the first time. There we
Like
go.
city bike on 1,000% steroids.
Yes. Okay. Again, for the listeners, picture with me. This is what we're talking about with multimodal like transportation. You have a scenic commute through maybe a forested road. You've got lanes for bicyclists, scooters, walking. There are lots of benches along the way to stop and take a breath of fresh air because there's no NOx and SOx and carbon dioxide floating around from tailpipes. And then there'll be snack spots. Also, culturally, there will be a shift where gardening and foraging information is provided in the school system. So as you're taking this commute, maybe you stop for a snack that is just edible vegetation, which you know is safe because you had that class back in 2nd grade. You know what I'm saying? You feeling me?
That's
Isn't this
amazing.
a dreamscape?
Wait, can you slightly amend the edict of banning bike shorts though? Because like that's not okay. I don't think that's a thing.
If they're compostable, I don't, I am a what do you call it? The dictator that's nice. Benevolent dictator.
dictator. That's my title. You can't
Bike
have that.
shorts
I'm a
are
nice
allowed.
dictator. Yeah.
That's a nice
Ring
dictator. Oxymoron, I
gavel.
think, kind of.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
This is a dream world, though. So these
Yeah.
things
That's
can
true,
exist.
exactly.
Yeah, but spandex
Yeah.
creates microplastics. So
True. Yeah, only
Yeah.
natural fibers. So
Right.
in this case, they would
Yeah.
have
Bike
to
shorts
re-engineer.
out.
I'll chime in real quick because that's a good tie-in. One of the ones that we'd also like is no petroleum-based products anywhere in circulation. So goes from fabrics to construction materials. We want natural, we want bio-based materials. We want good stuff for us.
Okay.
Yes.
I love
Popcorn
it.
first
We're
into your
fans
next
of that.
one.
Yes.
And
Continue with the edicts.
Goods and materials, we would have these third spaces accessible by these beautiful commuter passageways that would allow communities to actually gather and have a sense of community without being focused on consumption. So if we think about third spaces now, it's like a mall or a restaurant, and it still focuses on consumption. You're eating or you're shopping. So we would have neutral, nice third spaces along these trails. If you wanted to go, it's bad weather. I get it. Some people don't want to bike and walk everywhere. You got to carry something heavy. So we would have passenger rails and then high-speed trains, all
We
electric.
love trains.
We
Long-
love ice
long
cream.
travel.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Can
love
I ask a question while you're planning out this future though? What about all of us who have to go fix stuff? Like we need our trucks to carry around all of our tools and parts and shit to fix things.
electric,
Can't do that on a bike.
electric vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like cars are eliminated. They're just
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not
Wanna
the
make
focus.
sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
you'll get your electric F-150
Yeah.
or whatever the hell.
Okay, now does my drill have to be made of like not plastic? Because we used to have metal drills and then you get shocked and die. So can
Oh.
we have some
I'm
plastic?
sure we can come up with some sort of plant-based polymer.
Bio-based. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my younger brother is listening to this live. Roshan, if you're out there, this could be your
Roshan.
next research project.
Sorry.
We need a
Sorry.
bio-based sustainable insulator that is as good as rubber for making power tools safe.
Yeah.
Where
I mean,
does
this is our
stock
first
go?
100 days, guys. Like we have
okay.
time
All
to
right.
figure
All
out,
Get ahead of
lay
ourselves.
out the framework, and then innovation is to follow. Okay.
So instead of
But
dictator for a day, it's dictator for a decade.
forever.
Okay, that's
that's
good.
Yeah, that
Forever.
sounds
I'm not
better.
resigning
Yeah,
until I get tired of it, and then Kirsten
Yeah.
can take over, I guess.
trade off
whatever.
popcorn. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and to be clear, in our, this ecotopia vision of the future, we're not trying to say you have to have like nothing and less, and that convenience will be done away with, and you have to carry on your back all your tools. But because we've designed circularity into the system and the culture, it will be easier. So it won't be weird if you order takeout and you're like, but package it when I get there because I'm bringing my own container, which right now I think I've tried that and it hasn't worked, or I've gotten some very strange looks.
People are gonna look crazy
Oh.
at you. Yeah, right now.
Did you guys in college ever have those like green boxes? You'd go to the cafeteria.
The clamshells.
The clamshells. I think we should implement clamshells at all these third places, at all the like restaurants,
Yes.
cafes, whatever. I loved that clamshell. It was so useful. And you had a little token. So as a member of the society, you'd get your token and you trade in that token, you get the box. Whenever you give the box back, you get your token back. And
if everyone used the
Easy.
same one, it wouldn't even be that hard because it's not like
Yeah.
you have to take it back to the same
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
grocery
everyone.
store,
stand.
analogy. Yeah.
Always. Yeah, and not the Sam Altman tokens, guys. Not those.
No.
Okay, not those.
Hell no.
these are legit tokens.
These are
Yeah,
legit
these
tokens.
ones are real.
These are
And
legit
worst
tokens.
case, if you forget your bamboo container or you're trying to get food for more than fits in that, we would have fully compostable, bio-based, as Prana was saying, containers. So it's still going to be the same like type of life, just with an emphasis on satisfaction and not making such a difference, or a difference in a negative way. It would be making
Right.
a difference in a positive way, but less about like something you have to do and more about it's just built in to the society.
Yeah, the
So
society takes care of everybody by us all just doing our own piece of it, and then everything is easy for everybody.
Yeah.
exactly,
A
more
friend of mine called
leisure.
A friend of mine called this like being conscious, not even like woke, like we've been saying here, but just like conscious. So
Yeah.
we're all being conscious.
Denmark
And-
does this all the time.
Yeah.
It's like walk around and there's bikes everywhere, and then they all sit in these third spaces and be cozy or
It's
whatever
so
the hell
nice.
they're into.
Yeah.
Little
The Danes
community
are some
with
strange
kids on
people.
the back. That was one of my favorite things to see when we were there. But yes, if this doesn't work, I do have a dictator version, and that's where we utilize all the existing technology we currently have that's like creeping on all of your cookies and your cache and all of that, largely for marketing purposes, but we're going to repurpose it just to make sure that no one is consuming more than they're supposed to be. This is where, my vision starts to go maybe a bit too
Get the
dictator.
No, I think
manifesto.
on that. No, that part's good. That part's good, especially with like when you buy things. If you can like tag a person's name to like a desk, to a chair, to like a bed, whatever, and like how they're using it, when they dispose of it. Like
Yeah,
there's
if they
a
ditch it on
working-
the side of the road,
I
then
can
you can
scan
cut off
that
their
and be
head.
like, "Hey, Kirsten, you forgot your chair on the side of the road. Come pick it up."
Yo,
Yeah.
litter bug. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be
It's
fine.
my version of being nice to each other, god damn it, or else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
this plan. All right, Tez. You see, I'm not the only one. This is a great plan. We love it. So here's what we're gonna do. Tell everybody again where they can listen to your show, how they can get the
Yes.
stuff, because it is a school night,
better
and the
show.
show is we're on the shorter end of it, but eventually, some people are gonna want to go to bed. So tell people again where they can get your stuff and where they can tune in, and then we're going to take a break. If you want to stick around and do the rest of the show with us, you are very welcome to do that. If you also do want to go to bed, you're also very welcome to do that. But or whatever you want to do. I don't care if you want to go jogging at this time of night. It's fine. But
It's not safe. I don't believe. It depends on
the
your
fox is
neighborhood.
out there, so I'm just letting you know.
that's-
It's out back yelling its freaking head off. So what does the fox say? Loud. That's what the fox says. It's loud, and it sounds
Listen
terrible.
to Green Collar podcast and save my kind.
That's what it's saying. Yes. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
yelling
speak fox.
in fox.
Speak fox.
Duolingo's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
I
No.
thought if you speak fox, you just turn into a white supremacist.
Oh, that's a good
bell.
one. Okay. To answer your question, though, I do think I'll be one of the people going to bed because the run already happened. So I'll catch the remainder of this episode on tomorrow's run. But the website is there. And that website will also link to all the streaming services that Aparna mentioned before. So Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen. And then Instagram, we announce our episodes and have some fun, like interactive questions for the listeners. And because we are about jobs, we're big on LinkedIn. So find us on LinkedIn. It's under Green Collar Pod. If you can't find it, you can find
One of
myself
us.
or
Yeah.
her. Yes. And then we'll add you and get it all situated. But thanks for having us. This was so
Yeah.
fun.
Had a great time.
It's been fantastic. We will obviously tag you when we have all the clips and stuff that are going to be coming out next week. So just stay tuned for those. Make sure you send them out to all your friends. and then we're gonna take our break. So Kirsten, Aparna, thank you so much for joining us.
This was great.
Please,
actually.
everybody,
A
go
lot of
listen to
fun.
Green Collar Pod. It's great
Come
stuff.
back. Please come back on the show. Please.
You don't have to read
This is
if you
fun.
listen to their
Thank you.
show. They do all the reading for you and then tell you about it. They interview the people who write the books. It's fantastic. It's my way of pretending I read. It's great. You're gonna have a good time. And yes, please come back in a few months or whenever when you've got some more good stuff to tell us about, new edicts, any of that kind of thing. We'll be happy to have you back on the show. And as Tez said, if you want to co-host so that he doesn't have to, he's always looking for a day off.
Well, we'll come back with some more props, baby. Yeah.
There you go.
Please.
We love props. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with the third half of the show. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Porn Again, a novel.
System, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive. You're selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Near the roof, vampire pot, there the goblins are hobbling round, coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna steal your daughter at the mall. We're gonna steal your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
We haven't played that one in a while. Welcome back to
I haven't
Chip Chat.
seen that in so long.
Here on Radio and Beyond. I'm Chip. Who are you? Wait, I don't even know where we are in the show. That's
All right, again.
Tez, you got to do your PSA
I know, I
now.
haven't seen that one. I wasn't ready for that one. As always, please, as you see on our screen, if you're watching us and if you're not, please donate to the sandyhookpromise.org. Sandy Hook Promise, because we allowed guns to kill very innocent small children in this country, and we did nothing. And the guy we played before believes that's a false flag operation. So please, yes, Sandy Hook Promise, please donate sandyhookpromise.org.
There you go. All right. So we just talked to the folks at Green Collar Pod. So please go check out their stuff.
Amazing. That's clear. I can tell that it's just clearly, obviously, everybody should be able to tell that's a entertaining podcast, regardless.
It is. And it's also a place where you can learn a lot of stuff. And it's like I don't know what's like the most addictive drug in the world for you, Tez, but that would be it. I think that's better than Hop Slam for Tez.
Yeah,
It's all right up his alley.
They're very funny.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now we've come to the part of the show that's called the rundown. This is where I tell you about some stuff that's going on in the news. If we were real newsmen, it would sound a little something like this.
How do we 25th Amendment is asked?
Yes. We won't have the 25th Amendment in Chipchatistan. We can't be removed.
Oh God,
From
no worry.
Beltway Radio and beyond in Washington, D.C., I'm Emmy-nominated TV newsman and just bona fide sexual beast, J. Scott Smith. And this is the part of the show where I tell some stuff about well, maybe not me, but somebody else is going to tell some stuff about what's happening in the news. So what's going on in the news, fellas?
Thanks, Jay. All right. And Jay's over there in Detroit. He's unfortunately for him a Spartan, but he's, I'm sure, covering all kinds of joy and happiness happening in the Detroit area and around Ann Arbor, as you know, we're winning at
He's
everything.
most excellent at covering joy and happiness, actually.
Yeah, he's full of joy and happiness.
Yeah.
Also, we are up 3-2 against
God.
Ender. So joy and happiness restored on my end. But maybe not so much for Kash Patel. So remember when everybody was like, butter emails about Hillary because she had email on a private server that got investigated to like the ends of the earth and back, and the most incriminating thing they found was like making plans for Chelsea's wedding or something like that. Kash Patel's Gmail got hacked because his password was like password 1234, or I'm sure it was Cash rules everything around me, Cash with a K, and
Super skater, 3Ks.
yeah. That's very funny. Yeah. Anyway, so the FBI on Friday confirmed that hackers had targeted the personal emails of their director, Kash Patel. He's the FBI director.
It's just a silly town, USA. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, it's just
Stalin all over again.
Yeah, it is. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't.
Where were the hackers from, Tez?
Are they Iranian?
Yes, they're from
Of
Iran.
course they are.
In a statement, the FBI confirmed that the agency was, quote, aware of malicious actors targeting Director Patel's personal email information. We have taken all necessary steps to mitigate potential risks associated with this activity, but not before the hackers published embarrassing photos from his email, including him getting down and a little funky with a cigar. There you go.
That's why they want Cuba.
The Handala group, whoever they are, they're the hacker collective that did it. What is he doing with that cigar?
That's why they want Cuba.
I mean, if it gets us cigars, I might support that. It's, you know, just put a dictator back, give us the food and the cigars and the music, and you know, everything will be fine.
That's clearly what we're going back to.
Yeah, it was great in the 50s before Castro came. Castro had to like find a reason for people to join him in revolution. Everybody else in Cuba was happy and fine. He had no popular support at all.
And again, yeah, Castro, bad man.
Bad
all right,
guy.
full stop.
We're not fans of
I'll
Castro.
just stop there. Full stop. But what I will say is, why do revolutions happen? That's all. I'll leave it at that. Do your own research. Again, go look at the history. And Cuba is one of the more racist places in this hemisphere. So,
and we're saying that from America.
America.
So we here in the United States are looking at Cuba going, you're racist.
And let's put a finer point on this. If the Civil War goes differently, that would be the next slave state.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It already was.
It was, but I'm talking about like that. An American
country.
Yes, but it'll be
annexed it, added it. It would have been Florida too. Yeah.
Florida.
We'd still somehow end up with Marco fucking Rubio. Yeah. There's no way out of Marco Rubio in alternate history version. We still end up stuck with him. We probably wouldn't get Pitbull though. So I feel like that wouldn't be good. I like Pitbull. So
Dale.
All right. So Politico has this story. A bunch of folks have this story. On Tuesday, or in a post Thursday, also reviewed by Politico, the Handala organization claimed to have breached an FBI network, but did not provide any details on the information that they may have accessed. Again, probably because his password was like easily hackable. They've recently been linked to high-profile cyber attack against a U.S. company. Last week, the DOJ said that the group was responsible for a hack on a Michigan-based medical device manufacturer, Stryker. Well, now you're fucking with Michigan. We should bomb that country that those guys are in. Maybe.
Maybe we gotta investigate the company calling itself Stryker.
Ha! It's a medical device manufacturer called Stryker. I don't know why they're called that. I wonder what they make. Are you looking?
No, I am looking.
What do they make? Better not
surgical,
be
medical and surgical equipment, orthopedics, stuff shit like that. When Dr. Homer Stryker, an orthopedic surgeon,
it's
it's okay.
All right, he couldn't
I'm not
get
gonna
out
look
of it there.
I'm not gonna look too much deeper into that because
let's not.
Yeah,
We'll find out what else they're making. All right, this one's called Kristi Noem. Call your office if you have one. So she's been having a real good time lately. It's getting better. Why is it getting better, Tez?
What happened? Something in FEMA, right? What did they do? They ran into the FEMA offices. Is this what the story is?
Not exactly just FEMA. All of DHS, a group of DHS investigators entered the FEMA office and headed straight to the 8th floor. And they went and grabbed all the phones and computers and all this other kind of stuff because there was a person there who was working with Kristi Noem who was stealing all the money or helping her steal all the money. Yeah. Let's see. The Office of Inspector General reviewed contracts issued under then Secretary Kristi Noem's leadership, according to several current and former DHS officials, including 2 with knowledge of the headquarters search. Kara Voorhees is the person involved. She joined DHS early in Trump's second term and worked closely with Noem's top aide, Corey Lewandowski. That guy's a winner. Yeah. Likes having sex on airplanes, apparently. And anyway, so she was working for Corey. And she was a contractor. So was Corey, by the way. Both held an unusual role in DHS that stationed them in the top echelons of the agency and put them at the center of some of its most controversial and consequential moves over the past year. Last June, Kristi Noem demanded the DHS headquarters approve all contracts worth more than only $100,000. Now, that sounds like a lot of money to us, but it is nothing, absolutely nothing in government contracting. So why do you want such oversight over such tiny little stuff? It gave top officials significant control over everyday spending and created major delays. Noem's successor, Mark Wayne, Billy Bob Joe, I don't know how many names this poor guy's got, has gotten rid of that and put the limit back up to 25 million where it used to be because it shouldn't be that low. But Kara and Corey Lewandowski and Kristi Noem managed to award a bunch of contracts to a bunch of themselves. So among the awards that came under public scrutiny are a $1 billion contract fast tracked to a pro-Trump donor last year. Nothing to see there, I'm sure. $200 million contract for the purchase of 2 private jets, 2 for Noem and Lewandowski, so that they could ride around in style. And another $200 million contract for the ads featuring Kristi Noem riding around being Cowboy Barbie or whatever she was doing in those ads that were paid to the husband of the lady who got fired for not being a real lawyer in the Eastern District of Virginia. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Alina Habba's husband. That's it. Okay. Former husband, who she then just divorced to move to Florida to go find a new husband in Mar-a-Lago.
Florida man. Yeah. They're clearly snatching up all these documents to destroy them, right? They're not. Yeah, clearly, right.
Not doing a real investigation. Yeah. Unless, and there's more of this. Dick Blumenthal of Connecticut, Senator of Connecticut, said that his committee was looking into potential wrongdoing by Lewandowski and Noem in connection with the DHS contracts. It's possible that Congress can do a little bit of oversight on this, but it's all after the fact. They've already got the money. They've already run off with it. Yeah. And of course, the Trump DOJ wouldn't dare prosecute any of these people.
Right.
Not because they want to protect them. I just want to be clear about that.
Right.
It's the no honor amongst thieves thing. Kristi knows too much. She's got the goods. she could certainly, or Lewandowski, any of these people, they can make a phone call to the New York Times and blow the Epstein stuff way out of the water. So like all of these guys are all just going to, you saw it with the way that she got fired. It was very complimentary. You saw the same thing with Bondi. He's got to be really careful with Bondi because she definitely had access to the actual Epstein files. And, you know, he's all like, yeah, you know, they're great patriots. We love them. We're just moving them to another job. Then he cans them, but he can't really can them the way he wants to because.
And think about firings that happened in the first administration.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they were run out on a rail.
Yeah, exactly. Those
I never heard of this guy. Jeff Sessions is a bitch. I hate him. You know, like
the tweets were incredible.
They were incredible. And he's at it again tonight, by the way. Yeah. He's trying to explain the Iran thing, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But Voorhees was known for enforcing that $100,000 rule in reviewing contracts that seemed to be confusing to literally everybody who worked there. And I think she's the linchpin in this. We'll see how much squeeze gets put on her if she's willing to squeal or talk about anything. I don't know. We'll kind of see where that goes. If there's some state charges, California was a target of a lot of what she was in after and stopping contracts from going to places. You could see California suing or doing an investigation or something that might reveal some of these kind of things. So watch this space. Again, DHS, it's an agency under a lot of attention, a lot of scrutiny. They're still shut down or kind of shut down. Maybe they got some money or something like that. ICE got all their money. It's a whole thing, and it's a giant black hole of government fraud and opportunity of fraud in this swamp administration.
Yeah,
so just you know, we're not putting all the pins in the map with the red string yet, but pay attention to that spot. Okay, just have in your mind on your wall there's a map and it says DHS and it's got Kristi Noem and Brian's boobs over here and then everything else connecting those dots. Okay, just hold that in your mind for later. All right, speaking of funding, this one's about Missouri. What's a Missouri? There's a place called Missouri. Yeah, so there's a college there called Mizzou because they don't know how to spell Missouri, and they're not allowed to have like organizations anymore, which I think Brian put this story in here, but it's a
multicultural student organizations they can't have.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't read that far ahead. So what they can't have is the Asian American Association, the Association of Latin American Students, the Forefront, the Legion of Black Collegians, the Queer Liberation Front. Okay. The other ones are all Queer Liberation Front does sound a little militant. I just want to be
no. What?
And their acronym is the QLF. That's not great. I just
hey, look.
I'm sure I support almost everything they do. I just the name is a little hard to get over. We're talking about liberation fronts. Those are usually like militant organizations.
Look, Queer Liberation Front, man. It doesn't matter now. They're gone.
Well, they just can't get funding from Mizzou, I guess.
Well, I don't know if you probably what I sent to you was sort of like the aftermath of what they've done, but there was let's say a prequel of this. Yeah. So apparently a year ago they had someone from Turning Point there, and pretty much they made a joking, comment about I think it was slavery or something about slavery, and a lot of the black students there were pretty highly offended, and they made her, requests of not allowing this type of presentation here. But the student didn't get, who mentioned this, didn't get suspended or anything. It was pretty much, it was like either swept on the rug or just got a mild slap on the wrist. Then all of a sudden, again, this comes out, and it kind of like lot of, if you kind of notice, like a lot of the Midwestern schools, are kind of like silencing a lot of minority student unions here. And
Get out of
it
town.
it's in a weird way, to me it's like it's kind of growing. And I feel like, and especially in this day and age of, a lot of transfer portals for college basketball and college football and all that stuff, it's like you kind of wonder, it's like, do you really want to go to these schools if they don't have, people of your representation, either A, not only there, but B, getting properly represented in some form or fashion in the student body.
All right.
So,
2 key
and
points
I just
to that.
yeah.
2. Number 1, Mizzou doesn't play sports well enough for that to matter.
That's
and
true.
two, I guarantee you that if there's a bunch of anti-black racism in Tuscaloosa, the football team is completely isolated from that. That those racist, the most racist rednecks you could possibly imagine from Alabama, absolutely love every black player on the Crimson Tide. They will.
I can believe that.
Yeah. Somehow those two
believe
things
that.
are like separated. I don't know how they do that, but that's one of their things. They're going to be like, well, I don't like them, but I sure like the way they play defense, something like that.
Right.
So are you saying that hostility towards minority students could impact that school's ability to recruit or transfer portal or NIL in top athletic talent?
I would think so. I mean, in a lot of stories nowadays, it's more in the sense of not just, the treatment of, the facility itself and how much they're getting paid, but also it's a sense of fact of, is this a type of place I really want to go to? And like you said, it was like, who wants to go to Missouri? Huh?
Yeah. That's an excellent point, Brian. I hope that it resonates with the right people.
Right.
I don't think it's gonna, but
true.
I think I might have mentioned it 1 or 2 times on this show, but a million years ago, there was a guy who ran for Senate in Missouri, actually. I believe he was using the name Glenn Martin at the time, something like that. But he was a Klansman, and he was running on a segregationist platform, but because of the equal time rules, he got to run ads on all the radio and TV stations out there. And one of the things that was unique about his ads is that he would give his phone number at the end of the ad. And so we're talking about the sort of early days of YouTube working and stuff like that. And I managed to hear these ads and replay them enough times. And I took down his number. And one day I decided to call him and just see, what would happen if I called this guy. And I hadn't prepared a list of questions because I didn't expect him to pick up the phone, but he did pick up the phone. And he was an incredible person to talk to. And one of the things I asked him was what football team would be an acceptable team to root for a white supremacist. And, figuring I could work in a Redskins tie in there. And he said that he said, I don't watch football. There's too many blacks in football. And I
he's
said,
a true believer.
Yeah. And I said, well, who do you root for? And he said to me, the Marriotteville Comets. And I said, who are they? And he said it just like this. He goes, they're an all-white high school with the H in the white.
Wow.
And and I said, who do they play? And he says, other all-white high schools. And I said, those games must be terrible. and he didn't seem to care about that at all.
That's not the point.
It wasn't the point. This guy later went on to become somewhat famous because he shot up the JCC in Kansas City and went to, I think he was convicted and put to death maybe, or he died in prison awaiting his death sentence. But you know, I don't know how many murderers you've ever talked to, but I kept this guy's number and I would call him every so often to just sort of ask him a bunch of these questions. And he would always answer, and he would always be willing to entertain me for literally as long as I would stay on the phone with him. And he didn't seem to have much else going on, I guess. But if you were to ask me, like, would I really like to watch all white basketball or all white football? No. No, I would not.
Not at all.
It's not good.
I don't. Terrible.
It sounds awful. So, Brian, do you predict? Do we have to worry about not enough Asians in Mizzou football as a result of this decision?
Well, you know, they do have to calculate certain things for them. So, especially they have to, you know, help them pass certain courses. So,
wow.
So you're saying the tutoring programs for the athletes might be impacted by this?
Of course.
Okay.
How else they're going to get their D average up?
Right.
Oh,
if you don't have the AAA doing your homework for the offensive line, how are you going to get it done?
Yes.
That's just a fact of life. You want to win at big time college sports, you got to be willing to do awful stuff. Not that awful, Sharon. That was not cool, man. Damage the whole program.
Move on.
Move on.
Move
All right,
on.
let's talk about Iran then.
Yeah. Rhymes with move on. Iran doesn't.
So, unfortunately, at the end of the third, it is 3-3. So we're going to overtime in the Frozen Four. We have this story in here about Iran, but it is essentially serving as a placeholder because we really don't know what's going on. Here's what we know at the moment. Okay. And I updated this even today.
Right.
There's a 2-week, everything's 2 weeks with Trump. That's the only unit of time he knows.
He knows all he knows.
A 2-week agreement in place theoretically between the United States and Iran to cease hostilities or at least slow them down. The Israelis are sort of unaware that this exists and that they were somehow included in it. So they have been bombing the absolute shit out of Lebanon. So here's what happened. Trump announced he was going to nuke Iran, essentially, and on Twitter or whatever he calls it now. And everybody's like, whoa, that's too much. And it caused this thing to happen. Brian, play the sound. No, Brian doesn't care. It caused Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly.
How do we 25th Amendment his ass?
There you go. Candace Owens and all of these other people, like the deep MAGA people, to be like, all right, that's it. This is too much. You can't do that. Can't go nuking anybody.
I love though, and he never mentioned nuclear weapons, right?
He said end of civilization.
End of civilization. But it is interesting that just even inferring that, which I think he could have still called the United States can cause a lot of damage without dropping nuclear weapons.
Oh, for sure.
Let's start there.
We've already done so.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's start there. But it's interesting to see that the nuclear weapons are still something that humanity, it strikes something in everybody still. It strikes something still. And I found that to be very unique. And maybe this is going to sound crazy. Don't clip me on this one. Does Iran need nuclear weapons? I'm just saying, because again, we ain't had this issue with North Korea. Why?
The Iranians have certainly made that case several times, and the North Koreans have been quick to make a big show of that, saying, "Look at us not getting attacked."
Exactly. Parades every day, man. I can imagine.
We're not advocating for it.
Yeah, we're not advocating for this. In an ideal world, these things shouldn't be weapons.
But the deterrent effect is real, and it's clearly working in Pyongyang. It's not working in Tehran. So
I would say I think it'll work always between Russia and China.
Yeah.
It
is exactly
no one's down for that. Okay. No one knows.
We don't like it. But yeah, look, the MAGA people have already been fairly uncomfortable with this war. from the beginning. And Trump, I think, very quickly realized that he went too far with this, like creating this artificial deadline for Iran to open the fucking straits, as he tweeted, and whatever
Crazy
else
bastards.
crazy shit that he said. And so he had to back off. He had to taco his way out of this, which he always does. Trump always chickens out, taco, and he did in spectacular fashion on Tuesday. And then in an attempt, I think, to salvage the whole thing from the beginning of the war on, he announces, okay, we've got a ceasefire and we've got a deal. And it's a 10-point deal, and we're talking to the Iranians, and the Pakistanis are helping us with this. And the Iranians are like, yeah, we got a 10-point deal. Here's the deal. And it includes things like Iran has the right to enrich uranium to build nuclear weapons. They have sole control of the Straits of Hormuz. The
$2 million, was it the $2 million passageway?
$2 million fee. The United States will disarm and agree to remove all of their military assets from the region, not just from like attacking Iran, but like abandon all the bases everywhere else. The U.S. will stop funding Israel or giving weapons to Israel. It was this huge list of utterly unacceptable things to any American government. And Trump was like, yeah, their 10-point plan is a good place for us to start from. We're going to just use that. By any measure, this is him losing the war over and over and over again. He started it with no good plan. He got dog walked by Netanyahu. He is continuing to get dog walked by Netanyahu because he got himself in this situation where he needed to call a ceasefire. He tried to call the ceasefire, and Bibi was like, fuck that shit.
Lebanon and Iran like it's nobody's fucking business.
Yeah, Bibi's like, you might have called a ceasefire. I ain't calling no ceasefire. And he just like lobbing more shit at him, daring the Iranians to respond, which they did.
Yeah, it's shameful. I mean, yeah, like the fact that the American government isn't going to Israel and being like, relax, motherfuckers, because we control this. It doesn't seem to be that anymore. And even that, I think, was problematic in certain areas as well. But it's not that anymore. And that, I think, is worrisome, that it doesn't feel that. It feels like the Israeli government and Netanyahu are dictating a variety of things in that region. And there's not even a guise of the Americans being in control of their ally in that region.
Yes, I think you've hit this very squarely on the head. Couple points about that. One of the things that our enemies in that region have always done is equate anything the Israelis do with the Americans doing it as well, right? So if Israel bombs something, they'll say the Americans did it, even if the Israelis did it entirely of their own volition. And I think that one of the things that this conflict is showing is that maybe that is not true. That is breaking down in front of their face. But, you know, over the years, this show's been on for 11 years, and I've been saying this for longer than the show's been on, but you have heard me say it a lot of times, that the Israelis are always willing to take the support of the right-wing Christian Americans right up to a point where they don't need them anymore. And then when the Christians turn on the Israelis and say, all right, we need you to convert or die or whatever they're trying to do with their Armageddon.
Remember the reason why these evangelicals support Israel. It's to tell the people, yo, you better convert to Christianity. We're going to slaughter you all.
Yeah. But the Israelis have been willing to take the money and the weapons and the training and the ability and all of that stuff for all these years, knowing that when that moment comes, they're just going to say, nah, and then they're going to shoot back. And
that's going to be an interesting. That's going to be an interesting thing whenever that gets there. Because
I think we're seeing it.
I do. I agree with you on that one.
I think that the idea that the Americans can dictate the behavior of the Israelis was true for a very long time, and we are now in a place where, due to the overall lack of capacity or maybe weakness of the American government vis-a-vis its chaotic inability to accomplish literally anything, and the relative strength and security of the Israeli government with their right-wing nut job allies, that they're basically they can't get voted out, they are at a point where they can flip that script and they can say, all right, thanks for teaching us to fly F-16s and build all of this advanced satellite capability and all of this other shit. We don't need you anymore. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want. And if you try to stop us, you can't. And
that's a bad bet.
It is a bad bet. Well, okay. If America snaps out of this Trump malaise and gets their shit back together, the Israelis will have realized that they made a very bad choice to cross the United States.
Yo, we'll make that motherfucker two-state solution quick. Like,
in
an
instant.
And sit troops in there, to make sure this happens.
Well, and what the Israelis probably think they've gotten around, and they may have, because they are awfully crafty.
Yes.
Think about the pagers and the walkie-talkies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah.
But I'm utterly convinced, you're not going to ever be able to convince me otherwise, that all the American military technology that ever gets exported has kill switches in it. If the Pentagon gave you an F-16, they can make that thing fall out of the sky at the push of a button. And so, don't. And maybe the Israelis have defeated the kill switch. It is well within their capability. I don't know. But it does seem like who is in charge has changed. Bibi is running the show.
Yes.
Trump doesn't have any influence over him whatsoever. If we thought that Biden maybe lacked the influence because Netanyahu's relationship with him was rocky at best, despite Biden being a great supporter of the state of Israel.
Yeah.
The relationship between Trump and Netanyahu has clearly, I think, always been that Bibi knows that Trump is stupid and easily flattered and can be kind of manipulated into literally anything. And Netanyahu, for whatever's wrong with him in terms of his morality and whatever, he's not a stupid guy. And he's taken advantage of this, and he's put all of us as Americans, and specifically me as an American Jew, in this completely untenable position with this war and the way it's expanded. And I would just add on to that I'm no longer seeing a differentiation between the obliteration of Gaza, the obliteration of southern Lebanon, the attack on the Iranian nuclear facility several months ago, and what is going on now. I don't see those as separate. I now see this as one overarching Benjamin Netanyahu wrecking whatever progress had been made in sustainably managing a Middle East that is not at war, and he has turned it back into an absolute cauldron of death and destruction for whatever his reasons are, and I can't break it apart anymore.
I do think the bet is really bad because the feelings around the state of Israel are changing in this country. And not just from all right, you can pick your super left-leaning, and again, for right causes, we don't want a genocide on the Palestinian people. I'm not talking about those individuals. That is always clearly always been very frustrated and, again, opposed to the Israeli government. But I also see this across other groups. I see it in the government. I see it with my American Jewish friends. They are talking a lot differently than our conversations look a lot differently than they did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. They look a lot different. Where you could make
and Blumenthal and all of these Jewish senators saying things like Benjamin Netanyahu is a problem and he has dog walked Trump into a war that we don't want any part of. And Israel, if you lose American Jewish support, you're fucking cooked, man. You can't do that.
The state was built on American Jewish support.
Yeah.
American support in general, but it was built on American Jewish support.
It was American Jewish money and American Jewish emigres who put the country up in the first place. And
the shit happening with the settlers is just, it's despicable. It's despicable. What do we? And again, it's just it's hard for me to even try to square the circle because I'm wait, hold on, nah, it can't be that, right? Because it was that, right?
We have somehow become our enemy. You know,
I
we've been
don't
so
know if we
consumed.
is we the appropriate? Is that appropriate?
No, I don't want to say we anymore, but like,
but like, because that's different, right? The settlers aren't all the Israeli population.
no, and they're a small minority, but they're a vocal one, and they've got this stranglehold on the government because the government the society is so evenly split.
Right.
But it is painful to watch the descendants of the people who survived the Holocaust or the people who didn't survive the Holocaust perpetrating what amounts to a genocide. And I am deeply, deeply disturbed by that. And I can't get my head around that. I'm never going to be able to get my head around that. I don't even know how to put it into words apart from what I just said. But that doesn't adequately capture how I feel.
Of course, yeah. I mean, but it almost kind of is clear now that almost I don't even know if it's a two-state solution is what, but it almost feels like enforcing equal governance in one state might change some of this. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you could get to a point where rational Jews and rational Palestinians were able to govern together.
Yes.
So I don't even know like the two-state solution. And I don't know what you do, how you is there some type of rebranding, a name change, but it does need some I feel like isn't that the solution? Because then it would almost be like, hey, we are trying, and again, there will be divisions in that as well. It's still government, but I just wonder, is that the actual solution to this?
If you think that there's a great moderate middle that could run this thing, whatever you want to call it, and push the Hamas extremists out and push the settler extremists out and, sort of keep them off the levers of power, that everything would be better off. I think that is a dream. I don't think it's achievable because there's no trust between the sides, even amongst the moderates. It's so hard to get to those conversations. It takes days of just laying the foundation from one-on-one with another person.
And this is where you think the idyllic version of the UN should play into part. And even that's where you think all right, this is clearly not sustainable. It is causing more issues. Hey, there's a path towards this. We'll make sure that shit doesn't pop off, right? But America would have to be the ones to play this part.
Yes, but America is never going to be seen as a neutral arbiter in that situation. No. And now certainly there's no trust worldwide. I mean, certainly not in the Middle East, but worldwide.
Yeah. If we've lost that. Yeah.
We've lost it, I think, forever. I don't see it ever coming back.
I don't think it will be forever. It will not.
No, it's not forever.
Brian thinks there's hope, but
there's no one to step in. And even China isn't that. There's no one yet to step in.
There isn't. But there doesn't have to be. It's because the vacuum serves so many people. When the United States went through this, the first Trump administration, a lot of what Biden's team had to do, what Blinken was doing, was trying to put everything back and explain, okay, that was an aberration. We didn't mean that. We are still the United States. We stand by our promises. Yes, he tore up the JCPOA. Yes, he pulled out of Paris and all this stuff. We're going to fix all that. Bear with us for a little while. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. And he did all that. And then they fucking reelected him, and he's done it much, much worse. And he started several wars, and he's bombing people relentlessly, and he's breaking promises left and right. He's going to pull out of NATO. At some point, the rest of the world is going to look at the United States as completely untrustworthy. And when you're going to see it is when the money flees from the dollar. Because as soon as people really believe that the United States is untrustworthy, they're not going to use the dollar as the reserve currency. And when that happens, you see the dollar start to empty out. That's it. It's over. And we might be close to that. I'm not sure when that happens.
Runway with that.
It's possible.
I'm not arguing it's not possible.
So you know the thing that I keep saying on this show that you keep telling me I'm fucking crazy about, that there will be an election in November. Senator
There
Warner.
will be. There will be.
Okay. Senator Warner, who
They're
sits
controlled by the
on the
state.
Intel committee and is the top Democrat on the Intel committee and absolutely has more information than I do by a tiny bit. He wrote an op-ed in the New York Times saying exactly the thing that I've been saying all of this time, is that Trump is going to create or falsely claim some sort of emergency and enact sweeping things and cancel the election or make an attempt to cancel the election in November. And I'm not the one saying that. Mark Warner is saying that. If that happens, that will cause the global collapse of the trust in the dollar. It'll cause the global collapse of the United States in general. And people won't trust us forever, ever again. The experiment will be over. Thomas Jefferson will have lost. Franklin, if you can keep it, all over, all of it gone. Hamilton, all of them. I know every fucking week I say it every fucking week, and I'm not the only one.
Talk like that is, and that is still the issue I have with. And I think that's I think your viewpoint is a minority, but to talk like that is un-American, and that is I think there are big issues with American exceptionalism, right? But what I do believe in it is an idea and a belief that I used to see in people, in a lot of people in this country, and I get why this would beat it out of people, right? The last 10 years have been hell. You could go over the last 30 years for the bulk of the country of it just, again, having a drastic change. But that's what takes down the country. Those comments, the lack of American exceptionalism, I say that with a grain of salt because there is a problem with that. But
no, I'm with you. I'm always the one that's like, we're the only ones that went to the fucking moon. Everybody else can shut up.
That is so key to like the nation being strong. And I know this sounds very like nationalistic, and I'm trying to walk, but I do believe for a successful country, you do need the people to believe that, and you know who also believes that? Our immigrant populations, right? And the people who come,
they believe it's stronger than the native born for sure.
And I think that how do we, for the native born folks, like, and I get why they might not feel that anymore, right? You can go into your phones, you turn on any news channel, right, and be like, oh, nah, everybody, like, I'm done with this place, right? I'm leaving it, right? Everyone's like, how do I flee to Canada or wherever you want? But I think that's what'll take down the nation, right? Because then when you have something like the executive branch trying to cancel, let's remember the executive branch has nothing to do with the election, right?
No role whatsoever.
There's no role.
It's very clear about that. The states and Congress only.
States and Congress only, right? And specifically the states, because let's just say there is something that tries to stop that. Well, you need that American spirit to go in the streets and fight at that point. And that might look
I'm ready
crazy.
For that. I want that.
That is what I mean, because that's why I'm not work. Because it's like, all right, they try to cancel election. All right, yeah, well, we can't go to work tomorrow. We got to go hit the streets. And I do think just because, again, the decentralization of how elections are permitted in this country, right, and it being through the states, there's too many counties and things of that nature. You can't get all of them, right? You could try to attack a few of them there, but I do think the landslide that they're going to get beat, you won't be able to dispute the numbers. What you can do, and what we've already seen them do, and Mike Johnson has been he's done this well, is they might not seat people, right? January 6th might be, I guess for the Congress specifically, right there, it's earlier.
January 1st, and their first.
Yeah. But yeah, that I do think is a problem. And then again, you do what is unequivocally American, you go to the streets, right? So that's why I don't worry too much about that.
Just to your comment about the streets, I don't know if we really covered it well enough, but I do think that eventually gets to conflict. And if the people hit the streets,
you've been there before,
it's going to be different, because here's the thing is that the question is, where does the military go? And if the military goes with their oath, we're okay. If the military goes with their loyalty to Trump, We're not okay. And where we're seeing this is that Apache that buzzed over the protesters, and those guys didn't get suspended. They got unsuspended by Pete Hegseth. The firing of a lot of the top brass, whether it's in the army or otherwise, mid-war, which is a weird thing to be doing, the hollowing out of the officer corps. I really think that these are efforts by the Trump people to test the relative loyalty of the military. And I think what they're looking to do is get themselves a good core group, whether it's includes ICE as a shock troop force or whatever, that they can use to shoot at the people who go to the streets if they try to take over an election. And I know that I'm sure that they understand that they won't be able to give an order and have the full military obey, because they know that there's enough people in there who are true patriots and true believers who would not betray their oath to the Constitution and would not execute an illegal order. But they are looking for the ones who are willing to do it. And they're throwing up these test balloons to find them, and they're finding them. And they're gonna have enough. It might not be enough to ultimately win, but it's gonna be enough for there to be a problem. And then it's gonna cleave the military into pieces of those and the security forces in general, whether it's military or otherwise. Those that are loyal to Trump, who believe that he's the rightful leader of whatever, and those that are loyal to the Constitution. And then we're at a war. So, like, yes, the people will hit the streets, and yes, Trump will shoot at them. The question is, who shoots back? If the people shoot back and the army shoots at the people, it's all fucking over. If the people shoot back and half the army shoots at the people, it's all fucking over. There's no good outcome there.
What you are saying will not happen is that there will be an ending of some sort. And the question then gets, does America not rebuild? And we always rebuild.
We will have to rebuild.
We always rebuild. And I think
we will have to do it without the help of our traditional allies. We'll have to do it without the help of the rest of the world, because nobody will take a check from us.
I think the allies will look and see, again, specifically our biggest trading partner, that it is beneficial to the world. It's beneficial to the world if America is doing, not even doing well, right? I think doing well, yes, but again, that it is a stable country, and I think that is just, I do believe there will always be something after.
It's to the global benefit for the post-war American leadership century to remain, because it's been better for everybody, mostly, even including our adversaries, China and Russia. It's hard to argue that China hasn't benefited from the United States running the globe when they've gone from being an impoverished backwater to the second largest economy in the world. And that's all the entire time while we've been running the show. So it's hard to see them saying that this isn't to their benefit. I understand all of that, but the trust disappears. We earned this over so long, and it can just evaporate so fast.
And let's take the military, even that, right? They drive cars. And I think, you know what'll break people's spirit? $5.50.
Yeah.
$6. I think, and then you got, and I'm in the military fighting in the stupid ass war you got us going here. Those, I think, even with this excursion that they have going in Iran, are you not losing military support right now?
Well, they just take 10,000 veterans out of their homes and all that other stuff. So yeah,
I'm telling you. And again, I know there's a lot of Trump supporters, but it breaks eventually where this is never worked for me. It's no longer working for me in like the I don't even know what to call it, like the haze that they're in, right? And I think people will break from that, and that's where I think that's where people where you lose this, and folks kind of look and say, "Oh, this is more of a class thing." And the only problem with that is whenever we get close to like this class consensus, that's when people really start getting shot. Actually,
yeah.
Anybody, whenever someone has tried to bring together the classes of this country, that is when I do think you have some covert op shit that someone is going to get assassinated. Whoever tries to do that, it's never worked well for them. And
ask Bobby or MLK or
Hey,
well, you know what?
yeah.
Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear it. I'm always hopeful that you're right on these things.
I believe in the American people. I will forever believe in the
and I want to be there, and I do, but I'm putting it out there in a recordable fashion because if there's one thing I value over anything else, it's being right. And I'm unfortunately continue to be right, and now Senator Warner agrees with me. So we had a long chat about this, and I told him
last election happened.
Okay. Anyway, back to the show. America first. So Iran's bad.
Oh, that's
the situation's bad. There's like two things left. Trump got a bunch of Luxembourgish to build his command center / ballroom. Yeah. It turns out they also make some steel in the United States. They're just an international conglomerate. This is maybe a dumber story than you could imagine, but like after making such a big deal about America first, to have any of these foreign entities involved in this stuff where he theoretically can control every single aspect of it and then is choosing to let these guys be the ones, it's for a guy whose whole career has been built around creating an image, whether it's like false or not, this is a own goal. Yeah, dummy. I don't know what
I don't even know. I don't have anything to even say about this.
It's just dumb.
It's dumb. Stupid Stalin.
It is stupid Stalin. But here's my favorite bits about this. So the president has said that he already raised the money for the ballroom from wealthy donors, including major tech and crypto companies, and the businesses pledged to donate all of the steel and air conditioning for the structure.
Oh.
Hey, now I'm paying attention.
I was gonna say
he identified Carrier, a U.S. company, as the donor behind air conditioning.
Remember
so buy
that?
Train chillers, everybody. Or York, I guess. I don't know. Just don't buy Carrier. But did not
was
say
he opening
which
the Carrier plant that never opened. Was that a thing? Am I missing?
Yes.
Remembering
Oh
that?
yeah, that's real.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Yeah.
They don't even. Syracuse doesn't even play in the Carrier Dome anymore. That's a crazy thing.
I'm going backwards.
Yeah. So buy a train. It's hard to stop a train, as they say. I've got a train and a Goodman, and I'm a multiple state journeyman HVAC. Just saying. Okay. Yeah, and then he said the thing about the steel. Let's see. The steel company, ArcelorMittal. I'm not going to try that again.
Yeah.
Declined to comment, but Davis Ingle, a White House spokeswench, said that Mr. Trump, quote, was making the White House beautiful and giving it the glory it deserves at no cost to the taxpayers. Something else, something that everyone should celebrate. And then he added this incredible statement: only people with a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome would find a problem with that. Look at this guy, Davis. Poor Davis. Can you put him back up on the screen, Brian? Davis looks like he's a big supporter of Brian Noem. Poor Davis.
Poor Davis.
He needs a girlfriend, I think. He looks like he needs a girlfriend. I'm just saying.
He goes to that what's the name? That conservative bar they all go to. I don't know which one.
Yeah, I don't know. It has that weird name that's like.
It's weird. I feel like I walked by it the other day.
Yeah, if it smelled like white supremacy and regret, I'm sure that was the one. And Pall Malls. All right, let's see.
There was a horse with a hood outside.
Oh, tied up to what?
Well, no, the horse wasn't tied up.
Oh, okay.
I escaped, everyone.
Yeah, you're okay. You're safe. All right. This one here is about Commonwealth. This is how we're gonna end the show. So as people may know, Trump told all of the Republican governors to redraw all of their state districts to give him more Republicans in Congress, which they all agreed to do. And so states like California and Virginia and New York and some of the other places that Democrats control but have always wanted to have fair representative voting districts were like, well, shit, we got no choice. We got to do this thing.
Right.
We're going to do it too, and we're going to redraw the districts in a way that will actually represent the population statewide, not at a local level. Because, you know, you've got states where Democrats win by wide margins in all the statewide elections, but there's still enough Republican seats, whether it's in Congress or in the state legislature, and you think, how is that even happening? And the reason that it's happening is because of gerrymandering, and
Right.
because but gerrymandering can go the other direction too.
Yes.
And so if you want to play fair, you don't gerrymander, but if you're forced to gerrymander, then you gotta play ball, or you're gonna get fucking run over. So Virginia has decided, yes, we're gonna play ball. We're gonna cut up the state into new temporary districts, and there has to be an amendment passed in order to do that. And there's a special election for that on April 21st. The choices are voting yes to redraw the lines for the temporary basis to fight Trump's fake drawing of lines in other states, or no, don't redraw the lines and let Trump redraw the lines in the other states and don't press Virginia's advantage where we should have one. And it's an obvious thing. The answer is vote yes. Everybody should, in Virginia, if you're listening, the answer is vote yes, 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 yes. The Democrats have brought out Obama and all the big guns to try to say, like, we got to vote yes. But the Republicans have got a new strategy, which is a bit of an old strategy.
A new
What's the
strategy?
Tez?
A new strategy or a new strategy?
Oh. What's the new strategy?
The old strategy, bringing in our favorite strikeouts. You know,
The
favorite strikeouts.
KKK.
The KKK.
Yep. Primarily black audiences at a town hall this week knew what this speaker was referring to when she talked about the mailers. These are, I've seen them in my inbox.
I haven't seen the mailers. Hold on.
In my mailbox, they've got images of Klansmen in white hoods who warn against voting for Virginia's redistricting amendment, and others that falsely claim that Obama and Spanberger, our governor, are trying to tell people to vote no. That's not true. They are saying vote yes. Obama says vote yes. Spanberger says vote yes on this. It's also this sort of a weird thing where they're running ads. I've certainly seen on television where they've got black voters saying that they feel like their civil rights are being trampled on because they're being drawn out of their districts, and saying that these black districts are being obliterated. And that's not true. It is not true. Their voting representation is increasing as a result of this, but they are, I don't know why how do they find these actors or people willing to do these ads is a whole nother question. But
Money.
yeah, it's gotta be. But these Republican aligned PACs are the ones sending these out, and they're using the worst images you can imagine. It's not good. It's not good. So just to be very clear, whether it's Nick Cannon or anybody else who's listening, this idea that Democrats are the party of the Klan, that is not the case. There was a big flip.
Yeah, but let's address that piece of it. Yeah, the Republican Party takes on, and black people take on the Republican Party clearly because not even so much just Lincoln, but because Lincoln is Republican, but the radical Republicans that
Reconstructionists
through Reconstruction, right? And you know, some of the greater white men who are actually been in this country, like a Thaddeus Stevens or people like that, who are actually like abolitionists at their heart, right?
John Brown,
yeah, John Brown. God, not Thaddeus Stevens. I'm thinking of the one who got caned, Charles Sumner. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So like, right, those are and again, there can be something said between the end of Reconstruction and running up to really the New Deal and like and FDR for to start with, right? Like you could say that Republicans gave away like the fight for black.
They gave away the black vote when FDR also agreed that Democrats should curry the black vote.
And in the 30, 40 years before that, it was the Republicans did switch more to like the robber barons, the big business. That was their focus, but still was pulling. But they still had the black vote along with that because
they also had a progressive wing. I mean, they had Teddy Roosevelt and all of that stuff. You know,
There was,
so
yeah. But I do think when we get to the 40s and 50s, though, right, this is when you see again these Dixie Democrats, right, that again flip, right? They again you flip, and really, I guess what the actual ending of this is going to be what 60.
It's 64. It's Johnson.
Yeah. Johnson.
And so, and so when LBJ gets the civil rights laws passed, working with Martin Luther King, he's made a bet. The Democrats, as a party, have made a bet that being the party that is pro-civil rights is a better move to make than being the party that is anti-civil rights. Right. And they actively work to remove the Dixiecrats from any kind of power within the party. And it was specifically that Kennedy was down in Dallas doing when he got shot. He had gone down to Dallas to tell these Dixiecrat guys to cool it and to shut the fuck up so that the Democrats could retain power and stuff, and that they would be getting plenty of federal funding if they just shut up for a little while. And
quiet racist.
Yeah, and he got shot while he was down there doing that. And the Republicans took that opportunity to flip, and they made a concerted effort to, and they called it the Southern Strategy. Nixon called it the Southern Strategy. And they looked around and they said, oh, there's going to be a bunch of disaffected white folks in the South who used to have a D after their name, have voted Democrat their whole lives because of FDR, and whose parents were Democrats and all that stuff. But they're motivated more by racial animus than they are by anything else. We're going to go capture their votes. And lo and behold, they absolutely did it. If you looked at the names and who was governors of the states in the Deep South for the years prior to the war, they all are Democrats. And if you look at them all after 1964, they've got D's maybe after their name, but none of their policies are Democratic policies. And the Democratic Party becomes the party of the liberal, educated elite, and as a result loses the vote of the working class white folks, which we're still sort of dealing with that,
right? Which we're in the situation now because of that. Yeah.
Yes. So there are people who either don't know their history or misrepresent the history enough to say these incredibly stupid things like the Klan was founded by Democrats. Yeah, they're not the same people, idiots, and they're not the same party. So that's not what we're talking about. And these mailers and these activities that are happening here in the Commonwealth, I want to be very clear. It is a lie on its face to say that what this yes vote would do would hurt black voters in Virginia. That is not true. That is objectively not true. It will increase the power of black voters in the state and nationally, because it will give Virginia a congressional delegation that more accurately represents the statewide voting patterns of this state, including and especially including the black votes in this state.
Right. Hands down.
That's just what we're talking about. And if you look at the map, you can see it clear as day. They draw little spindles of the districts up into cutting up Northern Virginia and the Tidewater to take slices of the places where there's actually people and where all the black folks live,
right,
and incorporate them into districts where there's very few people and hardly any black folks. And so it is increasing the voting power of black folks in the Tidewater, of black folks in Northern Virginia, and voters in Northern Virginia and the Tidewater in general, in ways that give them an outsized choice in congressional elections. So nice try, Republicans, but everybody who's listening, vote yes by the 21st or on the 21st. If you're going to vote on election day like I am, you've got to do it. It's really important. And, please make sure you vote. If you want to vote no, your date is on the 22nd. So show up a different day. And it's okay, because they're going to lie about how elections work and who's representing what. So I can do it too. That's how this works. They didn't think about that, huh? Yeah, I know. You're going to tell me that's wrong and I shouldn't be.
It is wrong.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's completely anti-democratic.
Well, so is everything.
So are they. I know.
So yeah.
So they're allowed. People are allowed to vote.
Yes, vote on the 21st. If you're voting no, though, shut the fuck up and don't do that. Go home. All right, we've come to the end of the show. Right on time.
Right on.
We want to say thanks to Kirsten and Aparna for hanging out with us.
So great.
Go check out their show, the Green Collar Pod, wherever you get your podcasts and all over the Googles and the Instagrams or whatever. Thanks to our radio partners, Green Collar, Pink Collar, and No Collar Pod. That's a show about T-shirts. Pretty funny.
That was about straight
thanks
dog.
thanks to thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another week. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway and Rip Radio for making us sound as smooth as the water in the Straits of Hormuz. All right, where can everybody get you on the socials there, Tez?
You can find me on Blue Sky at DC Cortez.
All right, you can find me and the show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. You can find me on Blue Sky at Chef Chip. And you can, of course, find us most Thursday nights at 9:30 here on Beltway Radio and Rip Radio. I'm Chip. That's Tez. Tez has a book. Of course he does. Brian's in the background somewhere doing God knows what, playing with the AI. And that's the show. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Street balls.
That knows words, how can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. Seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. Thanks for sticking with us through all these years.